Tired of living life with no ropes. I done found my meaning in life. No other meaning come close. No. With my last breath, I will scream out higher before I croak. With my last breath, I will scream out higher than I can go. I done found my meaning in life. My life straight on, go align yours. Our mission is the same, but our purpose ain't the same.
Shalom to everyone out there. Welcome to the Search Engine International. I'm your host, Brother Gocc. Also with me tonight, as always, Elder Gocc. Should be joining us in the studio momentarily. Just here, man. I'm ready to do the show again. Big up to everyone who's been sending in the emails, the comments. Much appreciated, and all the links to all the information and happenings around the world, man. I want to say big up to everybody out there, yo, for making the show what it is. You understand me, yo? We're here again, and we're gonna drop it, Tonight I promise to be an interesting show again. The topic tonight, we're gonna talk tonight a little bit about the education system. Okay, one of my guests tonight is a renowned author on books dealing with that. And as we go on, man, I'll let you know who he is, and I'll tell you some more stuff about him coming up. Alright, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the education system. You understand me? What's going on with it? Is it benefiting anybody? You understand me? What's the benefit of getting up and dropping your child off to school and allowing someone else to educate a child? And then what purpose does that serve? So we're gonna talk some of the topics we're gonna talk about tonight. Hopefully when my guests arrive, should be here another 10-15 minutes or so. And we're gonna go into that. We're gonna ask some of these questions, and I'm gonna let you know who the guest is in a bit. And flow with it. You understand me? Once again, for those of you who are just tuning in, you're locked into the GOCC Search Engine International on Blog Talk Radio. And I'm your host, Brother Gocc. And the numbers to call is 646-200-4309. That is 646-200-4309. Alright, just hit 1. Get in the queue, and we'll be with you momentarily if you have a comment, a question, And let me see. What am I forgetting? Right. If you'd like to send us an email for the show, the address is searchengineint@ymail.com. That is searchengineint. Let me start again. It is searchengineint@ymail.com. Speaking of news, right? Those of you who are familiar with what's going on over in the UK with the horse meat scandal, check this. Found this. Sister sent me this link today. All right, listen to this. I don't know. After that laugh when I was reading this, check. It says UK border agency custom officers have seized illegal meat from shipping containers, the back of vans, and passenger luggage at airport over the years. Listen to this. It says tons of dodgy horse meat has been smuggled into Britain from Eastern Europe. UK border agency custom officers have seized 48 tons of illegal meat, including horse and donkey, in the last 7 years. Sniffer dogs found it in shipping containers, the back of van, and passenger luggage at airports. There were seizures at London Heathrow and Manchester Airport, Tilbury docks in Essex, and Liverpool docks. The illegal meat was passed for human consumption, and there were fears it contained diseases. It was later destroyed. Custom officers have been on the alert since the foot and mouth outbreak in Bulgaria 2 years ago. The government source said it's mainly horse and donkey meat from Eastern Europe, and is so cheap for the gangs to get. We find a lot of small quantities of meat in passengers' luggage, as they want a taste of home. Check this. but we know the criminal gangs smuggle in big quantities. Yo, listen, it goes on. All right. Now check this now. Because of this whole horse stroke donkey meat scandal in the UK, that we find out that the major supermarket outlets here in the UK are serving up donkey and horse meat. Is like everything's coming out to the forefront now. You understand me? Start telling people, that over the years they've been seizing container loads of donkey meat and horse meat. No, my question is, why they're telling us no that it's horse meat? What's really in it now? But I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what comes out with on the next you call it outbreak. You understand me? Let me see where am I here. All right. Like I said, we're gonna talk about tonight the education system. All right. What is it that you think about it? Okay. What do you think is wrong with it? You understand me? I mean, and why? Let me even give you this, right? Let me give you a topic, the title of a book written by the guest coming in. It's called Dominoes Down: The Hidden Curriculum of Compulsory Schooling. Okay. Now, how do we see a schooling system where we go to school to become consumers. We go to school to be, we're not going to school. We're not learning. People aren't coming out of the schools with any sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's like we were taught to read and not reason. You understand me? The reasoning ability is lacking. For example, you come and you show people logic. You show people things that make sense. Why can't they see it? Why were they taught to read and not reason? You understand me? And listen, man. You're welcome to join in. Glad and let me hear what you think. The number to call is 646-200-4309. Excuse me. That is 646-200-4309, man. Hit one. Let me know what you think. Let's take some calls. Let's take about two or three calls before the guests come in. Let me just hear what you're thinking regarding to the education system. All right. Let me take the first call in. We have brother Alvin from California calling in. Let me get him here.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Wes.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the show.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Just asking the question here. I said I'll just open the call lines, take a few calls, just to hear what the listeners think and what you think about this education system.
Yeah, well, for one, personally, I think it's a joke. It's a institutional system based off my personal experience in the school system from K to college, K to 12 to college, and it really they don't really teach anything from kindergarten, or I say from I went to two types of schools. I went to a ghetto school from kindergarten all the way to third grade, and then I went to another school that was predominantly all Caucasians and a few Asians and probably 2 or 3 blacks in each classroom. The ghetto schools were a joke because I had a twin brother, and they would separate me and him from classes, so we never had class together. So we never really can help each other when we're not in the when we're not together. That was one. The second one was around the second grade. I had a teacher, and she didn't believe in teaching the students how to read nor spell. She said that's not important right now. What you guys need to do is, work on your math and kind of enjoy being a child, so to speak.
Look, what do you think? The teacher told you that it's not important to learn how to read or spell, but focus on math.
Yeah, that's what I was told as a child. Now, I didn't have a problem with it at the time because I was a child. I thought, okay, cool, don't have to worry about that. But, somewhere down the line, it became an issue. And the funny part about it, she's still teaching to this day. I ran into her at a store, and she's still teaching. But so yeah, that was one problem for me for the inner city ghetto schools. They don't really teach. They was just doing it to get paid, and they teach what they want to teach basically. So somewhere down the line, I had difficulties of reading and comprehension, and when I was transferred to what you call probably one step under a private school. It was a Caucasian school, and when I would ask the teacher for help or direction, she would sort of belittle all the black students. Because I had a class that was about 25 students, 3 blacks in each class, including myself. And like I said, my brother was always separated from every class I had until high school. Mm-hmm. And when the black students would ask a question, they would seem belittled, and it'd be intimidating to even ask a question. So now you don't want to speak or talk because you don't want to seem stupid or ignorant for asking a simple question. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
So let me say it, because I want to get some more callers in. As you could say, your consensus is that the schooling is a waste of time. Worse again for people of color.
Yeah, most definitely. It's more better to learn yourself, so to speak. Because when I graduated out of high school, I taught myself everything. All praise to the Most High. He put the spirit in me to learn and teach myself.
Right.
But it became more knowledgeable for me to just teach myself and learn from my own, by myself, and with the Holy Spirit of the walk. Mm-hmm. And, that was about it. I didn't really even need a teacher to where I'm in college now, and the professor is asking me questions.
Right. Right.
You understand?
Right.
Students are asking me questions about what's your take on history, what's your take on economics, what's your take on certain things. So, the school is a failure and it's a joke. And college itself also is a failure and a joke. I don't take it serious. It's too slow. And it's just to get your money, and it's also to it's also to brainwash you, institutionalized to tell you what you believe in and what you think is incorrect. In order to pass this class, you got to play their games in order to pass. Right. And some people do it, and they know that they, what they believe in. But then most people, they forget what they really believe in, the premise of how they even started. So it's like they're being converted into ignorance.
I think what, Alvin, right? I'm gonna put you back into the queue, yeah. And what we're gonna talk about, we'll take some more calls here, and then let's see if we can come up with some solutions to the problem, yeah. And I say, like my guest coming in. My guest is the author of the book called Dumbing Us Down: The Hidden Curriculum of Compulsory Schooling. He has also written The Underground History of American Education, books such as Weapons of Mass Instruction, A School Teacher's Journey Throughout the Dark World of Compulsory Schooling, and so on. The list goes on. You should be in, said we'll be in half an hour after we start, so we'll give him another 15 minutes before he gets in. I'll tell you his name in a minute and give you some more information on him. And see if we can, let's hear from a professional who has been teaching, who has, written books, and this, and one of his quotes is that he was tired of hurting children. You understand me? So I'm gonna put you back in the queue, and we're gonna pick this up in a bit. Elder Rakar will be joining us shortly as well, and we can hear what take on this. All right? So hit one.
All right, well, I'll be in the queue.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back when you hear muted. Hit 1 for me.
Sure thing, brother.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to the call again. We have Ivan from Colorado.
Hey, shalom, brother.
Shalom. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was listening to the other brother that earlier. He 100% right. as for the school and black people in America in the school system, for us, especially being young, growing up, it's so bad. And if you're from a different country and you have a little bit accent, it's even worse. I came from a different country to over here to America, attended high school. Because of my accent, they deemed to put me in special ed and gave me ESL, which means like English as second language. In my country, English is my first language.
Hold up, stop. They're going to put you in special ed because of your accent.
Because of my accent.
Where you from?
Oh, I have family from Africa and other places, so I grew up around a lot of different cultures.
Right. Okay then.
Yeah,
right.
And because of that, I'm not going to change the way I talk for nobody.
Right.
Yeah, that's what makes me who I am. And I was forced to get put in special ed classes. My mother fought with the school for that. I had to get transferred to a different school. And then I started getting in trouble, getting into detention because why I asked questions why the schools are not teaching me and my people who we are, but learning all the history about Christopher Columbus, how this country fought, why not how my people fought. I get in trouble for that. I get in trouble for because I talk again the so-called Black History Month. Why? I said black people get 1 month out of the whole year to talk about the history when our history played a major role in American history.
Right.
Yeah, those are just the things, and just like the brother said, in the school system over here, especially high school and things, all you need to do is to show up. If you show up to classes, you can be dumb as an ox, you will pass. Just show up.
Mhm.
And it's just holding people back. And our children and thing coming out there, when you go to some of these schools, you look at the special ed classes, some of these kids and thing in it, they don't belong there because the school is now forcing them, pushing them to the limit to give them an education. And I look at kids from Africa, the Caribbeans and things, they come here from 7th, 8th grade, and they stayed in high school. They better educated than some of our 12th graders and college students and things over here.
Yeah, man.
Which is pitiful.
On a personal note, I remember when I was in high school, I was in the 9th grade, and I was dealing with quadratics, and I remember talking to my cousins who were the same age, and in school, and they had no idea what quadratics were, or how to, that's just one aspect. Like for example, like in Jamaica, I know that learning out there was reading was a thing that you had to learn how to read. You understand?
Exactly. Yeah.
The stress, the quality or the standards from the teachers out there were if you weren't pulling your weight, man, you would get caned. You understand me? And
oh yeah.
For people who don't know what caning is, man, it's a beat down.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't know.
You understand me?
And I understand, brother, and I look at it like they're holding us and holding our children back. What's the benefit for education system to know? It's okay to know about everybody else around the whole world, but you can't teach me about me.
Right. True.
If I don't know who I am, how can I go out there and educate my fellow brethren and sisters and give them the right information or the right education? In a way, you're still holding me back. You're not educating me.
Okay, brother Ivan, man. I'm going to put you back in the queue, and hopefully we can take some more calls, okay? We had the lines open up just for a few minutes before we took the call just to hear what you have to say, what you're thinking about the education system, all right? And the guest is not yet here, so we're just going to wait until he comes in. At the minute, we have Elder Rakar here with us. Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Running up, feeling a lot better than I was last week. Praise the Father. So just here to, bring it.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah, man. So yes, I know you're running late just before to get into the studio. So I don't know if you were listening to the show before coming in. The topic tonight, we're dealing with the education system. How it's affecting us. What can we do? How can we remedy the situation? We opened the lines before, took some callers, and I wanted to hear what the listeners thinking, and also yourself. What do you think on the education system?
Well, this is a deep topic, and first of all, I'd like to say all praises be to Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya Wawawak, the Most High, in the name of Christ and the Holy Spirit. Deep talk. topic, and while you all were discussing things, I was thinking of a few scenarios that brothers and sisters probably didn't know or probably didn't tap into or did. Is the fact that the educational system wasn't set up. The education system was set up for reprogramming and social engineering, which means to engage the children to transition into the new society leading to the new world order. The examples I can give is, number one, originally when schools were created, they were created under the auspices of teaching the Bible. There was no such thing as atheist teachings. The first schools were actually set up to teach the Bible and Bible morality and biblical understanding and how to operate in society according to the Bible. That was the original premise. The proof of that is the majority of churches in the 1800s were predominantly Catholic churches, which means you would learn from the nun, you would learn the classes was moral-based or you would call biblical-based. Now, we know that the Catholics are satanic, but at least at that time, they made a claim that, the reason parents can release their children to total strangers was because you trusted them. You knew that they, on the surface, was teaching the morals of the Bible. Otherwise, especially black people who couldn't trust others after slavery, we would have never let our children loose or freely go from a young age and at that influential age and be taught by strangers. So because of that, we thought it was a Bible-based program and education in which our people could get a better education and better themselves. We bought into the system. Afterwards, it started transitioning into, if there's a separation between church and state, then you can't have the Bible in school. It's a conflict concerning religion, and religion should be taught in church. Well, that wasn't the original premise that they started school on. They got us to trust them, and then they started social engineering after we were used to being separated from our children. Then they went through a transition of using the schools to check to make sure the social engineering and the disease engineering took place, eugenics, with our children. Now vaccines were attached to your child going to school. Now you're used to your child going to school, and you've been separated from your child, and you're used to it because it's giving you some space. You can work, whatever the case is. Now they're saying, well, listen, they don't go to vaccine. Now, notice how they transitioned it from the Bible to vaccine, alternative learning, atheistic teachings, evolution, and now they're going on the psychological trip by now psychologically profiling the children to get them on medication, so that now your children are put in a database that can actually separate you from your children altogether. The normal things children do, they automatically demonize if there's a social or a mental problem with the child in a pretext to get the child on medication. And from there, there's laws on the books in which if your child is on medication, the parent is almost agreeing that they're negligent based on the child's behavior. So because of this, the system now has become the parents, the teachers, the caregivers. They've become the parents. Now check this out. On another level, a lot of our sisters and brothers have made some extra income through the daycare centers. You had a time where now sisters were working. They're more outgoing in society. And because of this, the children younger children. You're talking infants to others, 2 years old. They need daycare. So now our sisters started investing in the daycare centers. From now, check this out. They have a new legislation that's about to be pushed that will start school from infant. From infant to preschool to kindergarten, which means the teacher in the new engineering system, which is your school, which is really a jail or an institution, to tell you the truth, they are now parenting the child from birth. You understand? Now, you have to understand what this is, because children at a young age cannot decipher the change. Whatever they are grown into or learn, and that's their new reality. So if your teacher or whatever social engineering statements they may put over you within this system, if they have 8 hours a day with your child from almost birth, and the only time you see your child is when you come from work, and then you tuck them in, and they're asleep 8 hours, really, it's the system parenting and raising your children. So now they have totally taken away that concept of family and the influence of the mother and father, and that impact culturally that has on a child's decisions. So my question to this, now that we know what their true intent was, my question to people, and and we would like an answer. Now that we know we can't change the system, now they are engaging our people to take the children and put them on all types of psychotropics, and if they play or run, or they can be, the police come and get them. If they come with a toy gun, they claim that, the child have assaulted someone with a weapon, and getting our children processed that way. Now that we know that they are engaging society and trying to separate us from our family, take the children, they're looking to kill and destroy the children. Now that we understand this, and it's beyond any shadow of a doubt that this is what they're trying to do, what is the solution now that we have that knowledge? Now that we understand that through their vaccines they have been destroying us and giving us cancer and all types of diseases through eugenics. Now that we know that these psychopaths that they put up in the nurse office to watch you, which are the heads of eugenics in all of your schools, now that you know that they're looking at your child and looking for a reason to put them on medication, what are you prepared to do? So that's the question I want to put out there. Now that we understand what this is, you're not going to change the system. What is the solution? What ideas can brothers and sisters come up with? Homeschool, whatever the case is. What ideas we can put out here tonight amongst brothers and sisters to come up with an organic way of fighting, not really fighting, I would call, self-preservation at this point. They've engaged us. They've been destroying us for years. Now it's strict. Now they're doing it right forward. What can we do as a people? What can we do with the understanding we have? What ideas are out there based on them engaging us? All believers out there. Let's take some calls.
Okay, all right, then so let's go straight to Brother Lexwell. Shalom, Brother Lexwell.
Hey, shalom, brothers. How you doing tonight?
Good, man, good.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, brother. Hello, Elder. The education system is really a very interesting divisive tool. I think it's a tool of sabotage. It's something that tells us that everything's fine, the war is over. This is why things have happened in the past. When you're separated from these facilities, and you go into other books or conversations with people, you know, you talk to them and they school you on something that you've never heard of, and then you start to put two and two together, because the simpler you are, the easier you are to control. And as a tool, these facilities, what they're made to do is manufacture a nation encaged. You know, listen, it's like that brother said the other day. When he went to his schools in white communities, he learned one side of history. You know, in the black schools, he learned another side of history. You know, but we all know there's only one truth to history. So to sculpt our minds so that we underachieve is really the goal of these buildings. There's no way that we can survive in them. If everybody you talk to tonight that has dark skin is going to tell you that, well, I learned more outside of school than I did in school, then it's nothing more than a breeding ground of problems to manifest later.
But Alex, what would you say then as a solution to this? Let's throw some ideas out there then. You understand me? Out there, and you know, just give me two suggestions. All right, and you know, let's hear what's going on, because like we said, we can't necessarily change the system, but being that we are aware of the problem, what can we do as a nation rise it? What can we do as a nation of people now? You know, to change it, to make to remedy this. You understand me?
There is no remedy to this. It's, as you said, we are a nation of people, so we need to be in a place that we can grow as a nation. Right. There's no remedy. This system is set up purposely because we are here. If we weren't here, it'd be a whole different system.
Okay. So what would you say then? What would you say then for us to then, you know, to with schooling? I mean, someone said homeschooling before. You understand me?
You have to teach your own family. Listen, if you want to have a conversation with your son when he gets to 21, and you want to say words that he understands, and that you're on the same page with when you talk to him, you have to teach him yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I go out into the community I live in, you know, and have just regular conversations, and people have two different versions of what words are.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make sense. Hey, man, we're reading from the same book, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so first off, as a nation, something's wrong with the people altogether. Listen, if the caucus is given everything, then why are they achieving all this greatness?
Okay.
You know, that's how I feel about it. You know, there's not that many things here that's wow, mind blowing or anything like that.
Okay.
You know, the greatest thing that they have right now are jet planes and TVs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right.
I mean.
Okay. All right. I think what, brother, yeah. Let me take some more callers in, right? I'll put you back in the queue. And hit one for me, and I'll bring you back in later on in the show. I'm sure once the guests come on, I know you're gonna have some more to add.
Well,
so,
thank you for the time.
Yeah, man, no problem. All right, let me put you back over, and then I'll bring you back in after. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, man. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yo, check this. Willie Lynch. The letters were written in the Willie Lynch letters. 1712. And it was said, yo, if it was done, yo, 300, they would keep us down for 300 years. But we in 2013, yo. So, yo, the Willie Lynch lifting up, coming off. You understand me? That Willie Lynch mentality. All right, yo, check it out, man. Okay, you locked into the Search Engine International, and I'm your host, brother Gocc. With me is Elder Rakar. Our topic tonight we're talking about the education system. All right, I want to go back to the phone lines and get some comments. The numbers to phone in is 646-200-4309. That is 646-200-4309. All right, we have Sister Jenny with a comment.
Shalom, brothers.
Shalom.
I want to give all praises to the Most High. I wanted to tell you a situation what I'm going through with my son. The school has gotten into a pattern of writing my son up for everything he's doing. It's like it's these two teachers that got a pattern going on with him. And the things that they're writing him up for is he's moving out the line. He's talking in the class. He's not standing where they want him to stand. I mean, for minute stuff, it's like they purposely trying to build something upon him so that they can, have this big thing in the end to hold against him. But they got the wrong parent because I don't allow stuff like that. And the thing that I'm seeing is that, up in South Carolina, there's no difference than the way they treat the prisoners and then they treat the children in school. The same line that they make the prisoners get on is the same line they make the children get on. The same way they control the prisoners is the same way they control the children. There's no difference between the two. It's like they're setting the children up with the mindset to be transferred over to the prison.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And you're not going to get my child like that. I'm not giving mine up like that. So I go there, and when you're a parent that knows the difference, then once they know you know the difference, they'll back up your child. But I've seen other mothers that don't know that how they talk to them, how they treat them, how they talk to them like they nothing, like this is our way. If you don't know, then you're going to be a victim.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
So, when you have your caller, can you address that, that issue about how they trying to mold these children into becoming future prisoners?
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. You understand?
Okay.
We've been trying to get him in there for the last half an hour. I hope, hope everything's okay with him. We should have been here a while back, but it's all right. We can flow with it.
Okay. That's what I wanted to add. Can when I was listening, can you add that, because this is a serious issue here. These are children. Mm-hmm. You cannot humanize normal childhood behavior. Children are going to move. Children are going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want them to make a move out of a line. They don't want them to make a sound out of. And then on top of us, they got these things where the children have to write them apology letters if they do it. So I'm saying, if you go home, if you're a person that's a teacher and you're not getting the respect at your house, is your people in your house writing you apology letters? Or you just expecting it from these little children because you think you got some type of power over them?
Some sort of authority, a power complex. Yeah, man, true that. All right, Sister Jenny.
That's what I wanted to address. I'm not going to keep you long, so I just wanted to, can you please ask those questions for me?
Yeah, no problem. All right, I'm going to put you back in the queue. Hit one for me when you hear muted. And if when the guests come on, if you have anything else to add, man, you know what to do. Just hit one again. And
thank you.
And to let everyone know the chat. Okay, shalom. To let everyone know the chat is open, so you can hit me a comment, a question if you want to, if you don't feel like talking, I'll address the question out, read it out to the guest, just a comment in general if you have any and you'd like to make in regards to this discussion. All right. Okay. Let me see who's my next caller here. Let me see who is here. We have Rob with a comment. Shalom, caller.
How you doing? Peace.
I'm good, man. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Wichita, Kansas.
Okay, man. You have a comment?
Yeah. My comment with the school system is that, just my personal opinion, is that you have a lot of children that are raised, okay, just like you had the song with the Willie Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a father. They don't have a structure in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These teachers have meetings every day about particular children that are becoming problems. Or maybe you might have a child that's being picked on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to my knowledge here in Wichita, Kansas, if you have a child that does what he's supposed to do, okay, and continues to do and act the way he's supposed to act, there's no problems throughout his whole life, during the system. Because what they do is they teach you certain things in school. Now, they don't teach our history. Yeah, they don't teach our history at all. The Caucasoid has a long history of never teaching us something, that we need to know. And I don't even go to the Bible anymore because he was so readily giving it to us, like he gave out cheese in our communities when I was younger, and my mom raised 5 children by herself, I go 4 levels deeper. But our education system is to sit down with your child, your student, and teach him these things, teach him his manners, teach him, because, you have things that are going on in the home, and you have, I watched my dad beat up my mom growing up, and long since, she's passed on. And actually, Brother Ricard, when my mom passed, it was at a real hard time in my life. He helped me one time. I don't even know if you remember that. He told me about 2nd Ezra, and that helped me so much, and I really appreciate and love that brother for what he did for me, because it really, it started and it awoke something in me, and it awoke my spiritual consciousness, my own. I didn't want to go on, it might be different than his, but he awoke in me, and he helped me out. But like I would say to anybody that have a problem child in school, you don't have to take the shot. They're not there. I have a cousin that's a teacher, right, in Wisconsin. They don't tell her anything different than to just, hey, teach this. This is what you do. College teachers, teachers to be teachers. So I don't think it's like some big conspiracy theory. I honestly think it's just, you have other things going on, and then, they're gonna sometimes target certain children. The size may be a little bit bigger. They be more afraid of these children. If you have a real big problem, just like they say, if you don't like jail, bond out. A lot of people don't have time to homeschool their children. A lot of people don't have time. Just like you can say, let's say Brother Ricard opened up a school teaching about, what he knows and what he believes about the Israelites. Okay? You would pack it out. Okay. But would it be ready, or would it be accepted to the other system? See, my children, they don't have any other. I have small children, so I'll be careful in what I say, because the tongue and what you speak, you have to be real careful, because that's what comes to light. My children, they have no choice. They're going to be doctors. And the school system, that's what they teach. They teach you how to be a doctor or dentist or an engineer. And just like the other, races, that's what they tell their children. Right. They're not against these children. Just don't accept the shots and all this other stuff, Because if you don't accept one shot, then you're a group. It's called a group. I don't know. My doctor told me when I told him I didn't want to get the pneumonia shot for my son. I was like, he don't need that. And they got mad. It was weird. They got mad. It's like, well, he needs the shot, I tell you what,
bro, right? Listen, there's a teacher online right now, right? And I want.
You said what?
There's a teacher here on the line right now, and I want to bring her in to comment on this matter. All right, I'm gonna put you back in the queue. Let's hear what a professional teacher has to say. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, brother Robin. Thanks for the call. Hit one for me when you hear muted. Okay?
Hit one when I hit music.
Hit one. Hit one for me now, brother Rob. Okay, and I'll bring you back in after. Let me go to a sister here, Sister Shanae, with a teacher, and Elder Ricard is there also. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, man. Okay, shalom, Sister Shanae, you there?
Hi, shalom. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi, I was just listening in, and I'm actually a second-year teacher at a high school out in New Jersey, and I talk to my mom all the time with the stuff that I see. It really bothers me, And, you know, this is actually almost my second year of, like, coming into the truth, so I'm seeing a lot. Even with it being this February, even though we get the shortest month, where I teach the kids are predominantly black and Spanish. Right. And there has been I haven't heard anything about Black History Month. Right. Okay, nothing. Okay. On top of that, we're not allowed to talk about religion, but they teach evolution and basically Scientology in science class and promote it as fact. Right. So I'm dealing with the fact that I know that these kids are learning lies. And I tell the truth. I tell these kids who they are, and I'm doing this for the Most High. I'm telling, because no one else is going to tell them. These teachers are teaching them lies, and I'm young, so sometimes I hear about teachers talking about me because the kids really connect with me, and I try to give them advice. But these kids, I'm telling you, I have the child study team. They come in my classroom and are pulling these kids out. They're missing shop. Like I teach fashion. They are missing shop all the time because child study team or guidance is coming in. Next thing I know, they're telling me they have to go to a psychologist. Now they're being diagnosed with depression. Wow. I mean, it's anything to trick these kids up. And then another thing is the food. They're putting all types of stuff in the food, and they have passed a law. I don't know if this is for all over the U.S., but for New Jersey, it's a requirement now that the kids take a cup of fruit, 2 cups of fruit where I work, along with their meal. So I'm just very suspicious. And a lot of the kids will get the fruit and just throw it out. But I'm starting to see some kids eat the fruit, and I try to tell them on the low, like, don't eat that fruit. You know, I've seen what a real pineapple looks like. That is not pineapple. You know, I try to say little things, but, you know, sometimes it just feels like my back is against the wall because, you know, I see teachers there that look like me, and they're not, and you can just tell they're not walking in the truth. And they just have a Babylonian thought of mind, and they don't want to stick together. Like, I know what needs to happen. And as far as education, I agree with Brother Lexwell. These kids do not need to go to school. They need either homeschooling or it needs to be like a Hebrew academy where they can learn from scratch because the school system is not designed to help them at all. I see it. I completely disagree with it. And I already have my plan on what I plan to do as far as me disagreeing with everything. But it's just a lot goes on. And even these teachers, they harass, you know, some of the kids. And one last thing, I actually got a report today from one of my students who was bothered. She was in science class, and they were, I guess, learning about evolution. And one of the Caucasian boys says, oh, well, aren't they from monkeys? Ooh, and so she says, well, who's they? And he said, black people. And so she got really offended, and the teacher started laughing. Yeah. And when she asked the teacher why he was laughing, he said, well, we're all 5% monkey anyway.
Hey, sister, let me ask you a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, let me ask him some detailed questions. I'm glad you were on, and thank you for your courage in what you're doing there. The first thing I need to ask, because first of all, let me put this out there. They understand that children in school are going through a lot of emotional changes, just like any other child. Like, and I'm going to just bring it up. I'm going to try to break this down in a small manner so that I can ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Like when a child goes to school for the first time, there's nervousness, there's I'm not used to these strangers, and all these, who are these people? Will I get in fights? The normal things that children think about when they're going to leave their parents for the first time.
Right.
Now that's a normal reaction for a child that they were diagnosed with some type of illness.
Yep.
When you go to high school, we've all been there, or junior high school, you're dealing with the peer pressure of just every little thing, like name brand things and want to be accepted, or there's a girl you might like, and you're dealing with some level of anxiety according to that, or you might be embarrassed over something, you know, because children deal with peer pressure and looking to get along at a certain age, and they might be nervous or whatever the case is, or they may be upset. They might have got embarrassed that week over something. You know, our children, they fight or something happens and they get upset or whatever the case is, or how many times we were growing up and the parents said or did something, or the teacher said and did something, and you sitting in the room saying, you know, I'm going to do this to myself, or I'm going to hurt somebody, or we didn't mean none of those things. We were just acting like children.
Yeah.
But it's a shame that in our society today, a child may say something that's totally innocent, that have no evil intent, and automatically they're dealing with depression. There's no such thing as a depressed child. You understand? Because that's why Christ says, unless you be like one of these children, you shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. Children have the propensity to be able to fight, get angry, and all that, and the next day they playing right back like nothing ever happened. So they have the spirit of forgiveness, but they go through emotions like everyone else. Now, so my question to you real quick, sister, with the social engineering, let's just deal with do they have at your school, what they call that, a psychological counselor there?
Yeah, they would be with the child study team. It's a whole team of them.
And what are they called?
They're part of child study team. They're called CST.
And look at that.
Where I'm at.
At one time, you would just have a counselor, and a counselor was not for any type of behavior modification or behavior talk. You would go to your counselor to actually get you consultation on education. Yeah. There used to be one guy as a counselor, one woman as a counselor, let you know whether or not you can get into certain classes, and whether, you know, based on certain gifts, what you need to do, whether or not you can join a band or something to help you along, you know, and find your niche within the school. That's what a counselor was for. You understand?
Where I'm at, it's a division, though, now. The counselors may help with that, but if it's an extreme emotional issue, now you're at CST.
What's an extreme emotional issue?
You might be, like you said, what they consider extreme, you might be going through a range of emotions like teenagers can have. Next thing you know, they say, you know what, I think you should go to the child study team. You know, they'll put in a recommendation. Then they're working hand in hand with the child study team, and next thing you know, the child and the parent have a meeting with the child study team. And they're saying, well, I think, you know, your child needs to be evaluated. You might need a psychiatrist. So that's how they get that in the door.
Let me ask you this question, sister. Now, you've said you would do what Lex Will said, and of course. But as a society, as a people, looking from the inside, you being one of the people who understand who you are working there, what is your message to brothers and sisters? What can you say? Okay, if I was in a private meeting or in a meeting or a nation meeting to answer the ills of the educational system, this is what I would implement. Not within the school, but this is what we need to do. What is that piece you would put out there for the brothers and sisters?
That piece would be that we need to operate as our own society. In a way, we need to be, you know, separate. We need to be separate. We need to have our own teachers. We need to have our own community leaders. We need a sense of community and culture. And educate the parents as well. I mean, it has to be from our own people helping our own people, because no one else is going to help. That's what I see. I don't see any outside help. It's not going to come.
So on the grassroots level, you think it'll be a good idea? It's just and I'm drawing from some of the things you're saying here. Do you think it'd be a good idea if there's a movement for what you would call community meetings outside of the institution with parents and others to get them educated on what's happening within those four walls of they call school for those 8 hours? I don't think parents know, and that's why children really lash out at their parents, because you come to school and the teacher changed their behavior. It's a 180. They act so nice when the parents are around, and the child is looking at the parent like, this is not the same person that's dealing with me every day. Mm-hmm. You understand? And then they get mad because it's like the parent's taking the side of a stranger who's actually attacking their child. Mm-hmm. And I've been through some of these things. A lot of these teachers have vendetta against students.
Oh, yes. I stated myself. That's why you witnessed that? Oh, I witnessed it. And the vendetta even will go sometimes against me because they see, I'm not in the faculty lounge on my lunch break. I'm using my lunch as a second prep. I'm here for the students, and that's it. When I left the fashion industry to get into teaching, it wasn't to be friends with the other teachers and sit and chit-chat on lunch breaks and talk about students. I'm there for them, and they see that. So I see how they talk to these students. And, because I have that relationship with students, not even just the ones that are in my shop, just in general, they can come to me and they'll say, this teacher, was saying this in class, and what do you think about that? And I get into some really good conversations with these kids, and I give them flyers, on just a printout, the 12 tribes, who we are, what Christ looked like. I give a little breakdown with the verses on where they can look to get further information. Basically, I'm just trying to infiltrate from the inside out.
Well, sister. Well, we thank you. We thank you, and keep it up. And I hope these ideas are getting out there. Brothers and sisters, we teach you on the street and all that, and out there teaching. But also, it'll be good to move that into some community talk once a week. You understand? Yeah. Go into a rec center, go into one of these places, and book it out, and pass out flyers into, just community awareness. What's really going on? Are we being infiltrated? Are we being socially engineered? One last thing I need to ask you, sister. And there's been a sodomite invasion on our people for a long time. You got known sodomites that are being put in authority all over the place. Mm-hmm. Now, have you witnessed that Sodom and Gomorrah invasion in your school?
I do notice it on a certain level, but what I notice more is a protection with it. They have this thing called HIB. I think it's throughout New Jersey. It's called HIB, and it stands for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. But really, it's a mask to protect homosexuals and homosexuality. It's almost promoting it and protecting it at the same time. So now, when kids would tease each other like back in the day, and it was nothing, now it's like if you say anything against a homosexual, that's harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And now, if they think it's serious enough, the police get involved.
Incredible. Yeah.
Hey. They have a HIB assembly. The kids have to watch it. It takes up all the shop time, which is about 2 hours. So it's about like an hour and a half assembly, and then they talk about it afterwards. Then they email the teachers lesson plans for that day, and you have to go back to your room and talk about it. So what I did, I had to go to the assembly. When we went back to the classroom, I hit the PowerPoint, and I started teaching fashion. They said, well, what about the assembly? I said, that assembly was nothing but a waste of time. I did not promote it, and I wasn't going to be behind it, and I got back to business as usual. They saw that I disagreed with it, And in my classroom, I try to establish that atmosphere. I am my brother's keeper. They're going to care about each other. And we don't have these problems, you know, in my classroom. But like I said, I do notice some homosexuality, they do tend to put the kids that have these tendencies out on the forefront more often, like at pep rallies and stuff. I notice that it's the kids that have, you know, more flamboyant, that are the ones speaking out. They get to go on the floor and have the mic and talk, you know, so they get more exposure. So it's like they're promoting, and if you say anything, well, then that's his, and now you need to talk to the principal, and if it's serious enough, then it's also the police.
Okay. Hey, well, sister, I'm going to say you keep on doing what you're doing, and all praise be to the Most High, and it's good to see strength with the sisters who's going to fight against this eugenic setup. So just stay on board. And matter of fact, Gocc, keep her, if she go back in queue, keep her point so that if somebody want to ask her a question about the school or whatever, we can bring her right on in here.
Also, sorry to interrupt. My mother's here with me. She just wanted to make a quick comment because she's also in the education system. So we have some really detailed talks, but she just wanted to put in a quick comment.
Okay.
Yeah, shalom. Shalom. I wanted just to comment very quickly on that point where you said about vendetta. Parents have to be careful that when you go up there and approach the teacher, that don't think that it's over. Because what the kindergarten teacher will do, she will tell the next year teacher about this child. Then the first grade teacher will tell the second grade teacher. So this will go all the way up to the 12th grade, that they will put a label on him, that you watch out the parent, the parent handled it this way, and this they watch the child all the way through. So the vendetta continues on from whenever it started, from one teacher to another, year to year.
And let me ask you this: is that an oral thing, or do they actually make it on record so that there's a file that gets passed from the beginning? So okay, we had this disturbance with this child and and like they're building like a file, like a case then on this child. Does that happen?
Everything is written down. Everything is written down. But see, the thing about it, us parents, we don't never ask to see our child's records, and because you don't know what comments they did. Each teacher has to leave a comment for the following year teacher. So that teacher has already known about this child and his behaviors and what happened with that mother prior to that child coming. Each teacher will do that. And this is the vendetta that they do, and it continues on, and that child never really gets a clean slate from one teacher to another because they label him already. See, this is how they do it. I've been working in the school system for 15 years, and this is how they do. I mean, you call a teacher on something that they...
So my question is, have anybody... I see many people, witnesses like yourself, your daughter. Have there been a movement against this particular type of behavior within the institution, or... if you try to go against it, you singled out and moved out of the way? How does that go? Well,
being that there's no unity, there's no unity between the mother and the child, really, once you get to a certain age, or no unity in our people at all. So there's really nothing to do that you can do about it unless you, like with me, with my children, I had one son that was very difficult, but I never missed a meeting. I was always there. Parents have to be more in tune with their kids. Believe their kids when they come home and tell them something's happened and address it in a proper manner and keep a watch on it. Don't assume that it's going to be squashed because they said everything is better, because 9 times out of 10, it's not. So since we're in this system, we're in a system that we're not going to be able to, we're in there, well, basically we're still under their captivity. So this is part of it. But we as people, we have to educate ourselves as parents and try to something, but once again, we got some ignorant people in our race,
Yeah.
And when you deal with them.
And I learned also it's up to the parent to become proactive. Like a few things you can do. You can actually write a letter and sit down with the principal and tell them the things that you will not accept happening to your child while you're there. You can write a letter and have it documented and say, listen, this is what this will be a violation if my child learned anything, if he learned anything about atheist teachings, evolution, because we are believers, and we have an issue with any type of social engineering. We are against any foreign drugs or any foreign diseases. We don't volunteer our children to any foreign diseases that you call vaccines. On top of that, when it comes to any psychological programming, we do not believe in psychiatrists. Okay? So we're going to put that on the table. And usually when you put that on the table and they are aware that this is what the parent believes, they know that they can't do the things they would do to regular children, and they would excuse your children from certain assembly meetings, holiday gatherings, and different things. They'll make an educated decision to move your child out of the way, knowing that if you put those things out forward and they violate, that, you can have a case against these particular schools. So you can put these things out there, and they'll give you some choices, but they'll let you know, well, this is what you can do based on that. Another thing, you need to do is talk to the teacher. One time I went up for my son, and I tell this story all the time, and the teacher came to the door, and this woman was looking like a man. I mean, she had jeans on, hanging down, a little tape haircut. I'm like, okay, I'm dealing with I'm dealing with a lesbian here. So I went straight down. I didn't even, all due respect to her, I went down to the to the office and said, well, listen, I need my son transferred out of that school. How many man teachers y'all have up in here? And they had one man teacher that taught that grade. I'm like, I need my son in that class right there. And they did it. It was no issue. And when the principal called me in and asked, well, what's going on? What is the issue? I'm like, listen, there's certain behavior that's going on here with that teacher that we don't agree with morally.
Right.
And I have a right that my son don't learn things from her. So you got to move her out of there. Move my son out of there. You understand? And no disrespect to her, but we should, listen, do you want a lesbian or a known sodomite coming up into your house, watching your children for 8 hours and telling your children what to do? Absolutely not. So we got to break out of this politically correct madness and say, well, listen, the same person that I would want in my house teaching my children for 8 hours is the person that I'm going to make sure is teaching my child in school. If that can't happen, then we have to move into homeschooling. But sister, you gave some serious points this evening, and I really thank you.
Okay, and I appreciate all your information that you teach us too as well. Okay, shalom.
Okay, well, bless you, sister. Shalom.
Shalom. Okay, you're locked into the Search Engine International. I'm your host, Brother Gocc, with Elder Kai. And, the lines here are blowing up. Let's take up some more calls and hear what's going on. We have here Kevin with a comment and a question.
Shalom, brothers. How you doing?
Shalom.
Hello? Yes. So, first of all, remember, they don't teach us in school. We taught them science and math. It goes all the way back. But remember, school education is more of the corporation now. I mean, even the field that I'm in is even oversaturated. But yeah, we're looking at more of a corporation with education now. But one thing we're missing is, when education first started in this country, they had something called the grading system. We're forgetting about the grading system, which was also implemented to try to separate us. Just like you have credit scores and everything else. Even out here in California, where it depends on which city you live in, your car insurance might be cheaper. So a lot of this was implemented, much like the grading system, to tell us if you make an A or A minus, you're better than a person that makes a C. And I know from firsthand, I'm better in the laboratory than in the books. You understand? So a lot of that was implemented to separate us. But I think we have to do, because remember, when we're in school, you're only learning for 50 minutes, all that is they're not teaching you anything. They're actually introducing stuff to you. The other part of learning is when you go home. But remember, when we were growing up, our grandparents and mothers, whether they was working or something, they only went up to 5th or 6th or maybe 9th grade. So they couldn't help us with the homework where you really get the education at home. Sort of like when you go to college, you learn more on yourself. I think now this generation of parents are more educated now. So the main component of educating our own kids is discipline. We have to be educated and have discipline, because if you're going to homeschool, you and your child have to be disciplined to give that child the proper education. So in saying that, I mean, I think if we got to remember, though, just there's nothing new under the sun. So we went through the same situation, but the power of the Most High, He's basically going to filter out everything that our kids don't need and everything that we should need. We learned a lot in school, and basically, I'm pretty successful. And there's a lot that they taught me in school or fed me that haven't affected me, and I praise the Most High for that. So He's going to filter out in our kids what they should learn and what they shouldn't learn for the betterment of their lives in the future. But, lastly, if you have a question, if you get the guy on, your professional on, if you can ask him a question based on, is there a possibility to be successful in life without having an education background? Thank you, brother. Shalom to you all.
Well, shalom, brother. Key points. Yeah, those were some key points. Where you at, Gocc?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, man. The lines are lit up right now, and full. The numbers to call 646-200-1409, and we'll take some more calls if we can get through as many as possible. Let me see, where am I here? We have Jacob with a comment.
Hey, shalom, brother.
Shalom.
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Birmingham, Alabama, and I was trying to talk to you about something offline, but I can touch on the subject talking about sodomites in school. Here in Birmingham, we have a high school my cousin goes to, Harvard High. And, man, I tell you, he was telling me in class, man, they got guys coming to school with tight pants and I mean, jeans on and got the fingernails done. I mean, it's deep into the school system now. And where they're protecting the students, like, girl was saying, well, like harassment charge if you come against them. So I really don't see, I really don't see a movement going on for parents standing up, talking about, other kids come to school with, with this uniform on, with the sodomite uniform. And it's ridiculous how teachers don't address it and how they're afraid to say anything, I guess, so they can keep their job. But, I mean, it's all through the school system, even here. And he was saying how, like, 80% of the students are gay, it's ridiculous. And some of them come dressing with wigs on and different tracks and stuff in the hair. It's ridiculous. It really is, man.
Man, that's wild. That's wild.
I mean, I don't know if the board system allows it or not. If they, can contact a parent and talk to them about the child coming to school with the type of stuff on. But man, it's ridiculous here, man. I mean, I don't know about other places. I'm hearing it now, but it's everywhere, And I think they're really just taking control of the system. Brother Rothschild, I was going to ask you, do you have a phone number offline that I can talk to you on? I was going to ask you a question about something my mom was doing here. Okay. Actually, it's a march that we're doing for some of the. It's a politician. It actually was a former mayor here. His name was Larry Langford, and he was I would say persecuted through the justice system. He was unjustified persecuted. And we was going to ask you some questions about size and different ideas. It's not for only him, but a lot of people here that was unjustified, through the law system here.
Yeah, this is what you can This is what you can do. Do you have a Skype account?
Let me see. No, sir. I heard about it. I don't.
All right, you don't. All right. One moment. What? And you said you are in Alabama?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is what I need you to do. Once you get off, send an email to gatheringas1, the number 1, at AOL.com. Put the same information you just put out there on the radio so that I'll know it's you. With your phone number, and and I'll make sure I give y'all a call.
Okay, so you say go AOL.com?
Yeah, gatheringas1, that's the number 1 at AOL.com. But make sure you put the same content you just spoke so I know it was you.
Okay.
And put in the subject in the mail, the subject part of it. Make sure you put in radio show.
Okay.
All right?
Radio show.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You get the email, right?
Thanks, bro.
All right, bless you. You both have a great evening.
You too.
You should ask them through the email.
Okay, Brother Jacob, could you hit 1 for me, please? I'll put you back into the queue. We have Brother Kamar from Atlanta with a comment. Where am I?
Shalom, Elder McCoy, Brother Gardner.
Shalom.
I was listening at the top of the hour. Sister Jenny, she was saying how it's pretty much the school system is pretty much compared to the prison system, and I totally agree with her because on some of the points she made. But not only if you really look at it, they take the children to school on the bus. You know what I'm saying? The same way they take the prisoners to prison on the bus. And in some of these elementary schools, they have these little holding boxes that they put the kids in when they are bad, and they put the kids in the holding box for, minutes to an hour at a time, and it's like they really are preparing the children for prison, and they dress them up in uniforms and have them all routinely look alike, and I just really find that troubling. And not only that, I find that they use it as a means as a way to make your children take these vaccines, because even though I know you can opt out, but how many of our people know that? You know what I'm saying? So they use it as a pretext to say, well, if we can't see your children's shot record, or if your children don't have all their shots, then they can't come to school until they have all the shots. So it's just, I look at it like they use pretty much the education system to pretty much not only destroy us mentally, but physically and spiritually. Like with even teaching us atheist teachings and Scientology, and it's all a let's tear them down spiritually, mentally, and physically, and in the process make them dependent upon us as well. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there, and I'm glad that you all are touching on this topic, because a lot of our people cannot see what they're doing to our children in these school systems, because they'll make your children get these shots, and then your children end up being dyslexic or having what's that new disease? What they say, autistic and stuff like that, and then come to find out sometimes it don't even really be nothing wrong with the children. So I just wanted to say that. That's all, and I just want to thank y'all brothers for doing this show, because it's a great topic.
Okay, well, thank you, brother, and you're pretty knowledgeable. I hope you can spread in what you know, because knowledge is power. The Bible says, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If we know that Satan have set up an institution not to help educate people, but to social engineer and to kill our people, no parent would allow that. So it's the lack of knowledge. You understand? So you got to put it out there. We're being ran by these Satanists, pagans, these psychologists, which are sorcerers, pharmacy, which is the medical system. That's sorcery according to the Bible. So we are being ran by a bunch of wizards and witches. You understand? So we just got to, just put the knowledge out there for our brothers and sisters. What do you think? Cancer is popping up all over the place. and all these different. You got children with cancer now. These things didn't just happen. It's socially engineering, vaccines, the food, the bad nutrition, and let me tell you, the food in the schools is jail food. It's institution food. So it's serious deprivation that's going on there, and it's social engineering, and they know we're waking up now, so now they're going to just transition the whole thing into the prison system. So, and that's another show. We got to get a show that talks about the FEMA camps and the social engineering, how they transition in schools, airports, to get us used to the new FEMA camps and the new fusion centers they're about to bring forth. So we need a show on that too.
Mm-hmm.
But brother, those were some good points.
Let's move it. Go to the next caller. We have let me see here. We have Mark with a comment.
How you doing?
Shalom.
Shalom. I wanted to say everything that you guys are saying is very correct. It's very true. I'm getting the same slop served to my children here where I am in their public schools. Everything that you're saying is very true. But I wanted to say no disrespect to the two women that were on earlier, the two educators. I wanted to say the education system never taught education. It taught memorization. Things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, how you spell this and how you spell that. That this is a chair, this is a window. We've all been taught to memorize things. Our times tables, what an umbrella is. When the word the Most High tells us on how to train up a child, and so that and so forth, and how they'll go. We're not saying the Most High is the one that gives the rain or withholds the rain. We're saying the cumulonimbus clouds are the reasons for this happening. And you told us to call in maybe about an hour and a half ago. You asked the question, what's the solution? Totally, I think the solution is what the Word of God says. Come out of her, my people. There is no other solution because they are given the shot.
All right.
They are telling us that they are not making it aware in the black community that we have the option to option out these shots. Now, I just had a son last May when it came around for his first shots. We told the doctors after watching you guys, and my wife agreed, we was not going to vaccinate this child, and we said we don't want to give the baby a shot. They said why, and we said we just don't want to. And our visit was over. We got there maybe about 30 minutes, and they got to weigh the baby and took care of the baby and everything. And as soon as we said no, we don't want to see the shots, oh my gosh, the lady walked out and she came back in with the male doctor, and he asked, and I said we don't want the shots. And then they asked my wife. They was looking, and they was kind of like, well, what are you saying about this? They wanted to see whether we were in agreement, whether they could say, okay, well, maybe we need to separate the man because he's trying to control the woman. But she was in agreement with me, and they saw that it was not that we were in union on that, and we stayed an extra hour. And then they finally asked us, they said, well, we need you to sign something to say that you refused the shots. And we said, well, doesn't this baby have a shot record? And they said yes. I said, well, if we don't sign for these shots, then you can't administer them. So our signature or our lack of signature, that's enough. We're not going to even sign the paper that you want us to sign, so that you can put that in there. And we didn't say this, so that they could put it in the child's jacket. So we left. I mean, every time we go for a shot, it's like a process where we finally said, you know what, we're not going to take the baby to the doctor. And my wife, this is her first baby and everything, so she wanted to get the baby weighed, and that's the real reason why we took the baby. Well, now we just said, you know what, we're not going to do it. And, since then, everyone's been catching the flu all over the nation. But really, to tell you the truth, I think that going back to what I was saying, I got off on a tangent. The only solution is to separate. Hold
up. I'm going to give you your time for the solution. Let me ask you the question.
Yes, sir.
Is the baby healthy?
Oh, the baby, this is This is my fourth baby. This baby is much more healthier than my first three babies. I had a previous marriage that ended in the way that I could legally and spiritually separate. So therefore, I did that, and I do have my children living with me. I have all four of my children. She's a great.
But is the baby healthy? That's I want to.
He's strong.
Explain that.
He's only 9 months. He's ready to walk. He's trying to talk. We're singing the ABCs, and he's trying to sing it and utter it with us. Oh no, he's the strongest. Oh my goodness, he was turning over before we left the hospital, and we stayed in the hospital for they kept her for maybe 3 or 4 days. No, 3 days because she was a C-section. But the baby was turning over. We decided that we was going to do the breast milk, and she was able to pump even before we left the hospital because of the way that you guys gave us information, and we took heed to that. And this was a very, very she had a very, very healthy pregnancy. We was in prayer. This baby is the strongest baby I've ever had, and it's my fourth baby. The baby is healthy, is strong. When he gets sick, I feel like this: everyone in the household can get sick. He won't even get sick. He won't even get sick.
Well, listen. All praises be to the Most High. So, hey, that's key. That's key, brother. So I'm glad it worked. Let's go to your solution. But I wanted to put it out there so that people, because you need that contrary. You need that voice out there to say, well, this is the benefit of not listening to this eugenics mess. Yeah. They usually because what they put out there is, your baby might get sick and this might happen or that might happen. And you as a testimony that the vaccines is what make you sick. The children are always sick that's getting these vaccines. They're attacking the child's brain through neurological damage, autism, all types of stuff. They're lowering the IQ of children. Mm-hmm. All that they're doing on purpose. They're scrambling the children's brains to the point where they can't talk until the age of 3 or 4, barely. Right. So I'm glad you have a positive testimony. And let me tell you, brother, that testimony is all over the earth for all the brothers and sisters that are denying the eugenics vaccine. The vaccines are for depopulation. They're not for anything other than depopulation, killing, cancer, and destruction. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you put that out there. Give us your solution real quick so we can get to the next call.
We have to leave. I called you guys about 3 weeks ago, and then you told me to send an email. I was the one that told you about the woman getting beat down here by the cops, and the only thing that happened to the cop that he just got fired. But anyway, I called you and I sent the email, and I haven't heard anything. But you know what? I think I sent the email wrong. I'm going to send the email, and I'm going to let you know that it's me. I typed maybe like a paragraph, and I'm just going to let you know, hey, it's me. I talked to you on the phone. This is my contact information so we can link up, because the only thing that's really holding me back is, like I said, I want to go with the right people, so I want to link up with you guys. So I'm going to give you a new email. I'm going to send a new email so we can link up.
Okay, thank you, brother. And make sure you title it. Make sure you title it radio show.
Yes, sir.
I was told to contact from radio show. Just put that in subject.
Yes, sir.
On another note, real quick, you push 1 to go back in queue if you don't mind, brother.
Yes, sir. All praises to the Most High. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I'm going to send that email. I look to hear from you very shortly.
Okay, bless you. Bless you. I'm going to say this also, and we try to reach as many people as we can. But I'm going to say, brothers and sisters, listen. You have some people who they'll contact us and say they want to contact for certain things. All these people are genuine, and we're going to definitely contact them. But we have other people who contact us, and they end up getting us on the phone, and they get us on the phone to argue certain points. The example I can give, some brothers were saying that they wanted to do this and they wanted to get together, whatever, and we finally called. and they wanted to talk about whether the so-called white man is Esau or Japheth. All right, and they were adamant that Esau was Japheth. And it's like, listen, you know what we believe according to that. All right, let's not keep beating the dead horse with this thing. We have showed you according to the scriptures what that is. So if we're going to get on the phone, let's talk about something some empowerment, instead of just trying to find a point in which you can disagree to show that you got ups on something. The truth is not about that. The understanding is not about that. They're trying to, okay, I'm going to prove this brother wrong in this situation or that situation. Listen, if you want to know, yes, sometimes in certain situations, I can be wrong like the next person. There you go. So let's not make this a point where, okay, let me see where something is wrong at so I can call and do a debate. You got it right now. Sometimes I'm wrong in certain things. Scriptures and the understanding that we do bring forth, when we bring forth that knowledge out of that Bible, now the Scripture speaks for themselves. And that's not me. That's thus saith the Lord. So when those Scriptures are coming forth, you can't prove that wrong. And I'm putting that out there for brothers and sisters. It's good to have a normal conversation and talk to brothers for empowerment and talk to sisters like we're doing tonight and getting some key information, because it's a body. Everyone has a key point in this movement. It's not about one person. One person can probably be the glue or help do things together, just to glue things and keep it going. But it's a body. Everyone is equally important, and everyone has a say in what happens with this body. So I wanted to put that out there to brothers and sisters that, yes, it is hard communicating. You're talking about thousands and thousands of people, hundreds and hundreds of people. I'm going to take a day, and we're going to knock out at least 50 to 100 phone calls one day, and we're going to try to choose days like that to do that. But I want to say this. Make sure when we do reach out that it's something constructive and not sitting there, well, I heard that y'all talking about fleeing Babylon or whatever, and the Bible says don't flee Babylon. Listen, those conversations I'm not going to be a part of when we call you. If you don't think that you should flee Babylon, stay in Babylon. And another thing, I wanted to say this real quick. And it's only our people that's ignorant. There's people traveling all over the world and relocating and having their family retiring all over the earth, and no one is calling these people saying, well, why did you leave America? Or why did you leave Mexico? Or you don't talk to the immigrant sitting up in your face that's selling you everything and saying, well, why did you leave Saudi Arabia? Why did you leave Africa? It's only our people that deal with this ignorance because we're pigeonholed into being slaves and believing that it's wrong to make a move outside of your enslavement. So I want to put that out there. If you don't believe that you need to leave, that's fine. Even if you don't believe that, use wisdom. Still have, there's some black people that don't even know what a passport is. So I'm going to tell you, still use wisdom for the worst case scenario. You don't want to put yourself in a position and then you're going to say, well, it was the will of the Most High. Let me tell you, it wasn't the will of the Most High if you were forewarned and was ignorant and decided not to listen when you had a chance to do something. So when it happens, you can't say, well, I'm brave, I stand for the Most High. No, you don't. You're ignorant. Because what you can do, a wise man see the destruction coming from afar off and prepare. You don't get yourself in a situation and then say, well, that's the Most High. That's how it worked out. So I'm just putting that out there for brothers and sisters. You understand? I'm so encouraged tonight because you hear brothers and sisters that are movers and shakers, and they're coming with solutions. It ain't about, let's just hear some scriptures now. Good breakdowns is all nice, and getting the understanding that a lot of people are not going into, getting key information, all that's a blessing. But this is a blessing hearing how empowered the truth has been. We have school teachers, brothers and sisters that are now all in the system changing things. We have a brother who just said his child was saved because they heard a radio show and now their child is strong as can be. And that if that didn't happen, who knows, that baby's brain could have been scrambled by now. So I'm hearing solutions, empowered people with the Spirit of the Most High. I'm hearing a nation standing with truth. And as long as you come in like that, we can talk. You got it, Gocc.
Yeah, man, true that, man, true that. And just on the top of that, man, you know, travel, you know, recommendation for everyone, man. Travel, come out of your environment and go look outside of it, because when you come out of that, you realize that the bubble that they have put you in, you understand me, it's not right. When you look like a place like here in the UK where you see chemtrails floating over the sky on a day to day, like it's a natural thing. When you see them serving up horse meat in the supermarkets for the people to eat, you understand me? When you come outside of these places and you go and you go into other parts of the world, you realize that people don't live like this, and some of these things can happen there. And traveling increases wisdom. You understand? And other guy last night telling me that the UK is the best thing since sliced bread. Must have left the house at 3:00 this morning, and at the end of the day, at the beginning, the UK was the best, but by the time the conversation was done, well, maybe we need to have a look somewhere else. And it's like the mentality that we've been drummed in and programming is that we believe that here in our captive on these colonial plantation is that of the answer. So when anybody come and say, let's bounce off the plantation, then it's like worse for us. You understand me? Worse for us, man. And let me see. El Gabar wants to come in here. Let me bring El Gabar in. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, brother. How we doing? Enjoying the show. How's everything?
Hey, shalom.
Shalom. Just, and I think in regards of solution, I don't know, we lost. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Okay. In regards of solution, I think every parent should sit down with their child and let them know that the world they're going to enter when dealing with school, high school, junior high school, it's going to be different. And I think you should have that type of discussion. And survival, skills to maneuver. And I also tell her, just because someone is a teacher doesn't mean they're always right. Just because someone is an adult, that means you can always trust them. Just because someone has a white coat, so those type of things, you should have those type of those talk. Also with friends, hanging out with certain, environment also is important. So I think those type of conversation for the meantime to understand that your job is not really to learn anything. Your job there is to pass the grade and get out of there. That's it. Just do your work what you're supposed to do, nothing more, nothing less, and get out of there. When you learn something, I'm going to teach you something. We're going to read the Bible. We're going to go into the real history, what really happened to our people. So I think that type of discussion for the time being until we get up out of here, we have our own school, our own system. Mm-hmm. Understand that this is just simply an end to a mean for you to, your job is to pass to the next grade. So I think that, I just want to also,
hey, check
add to that.
Check this out, check this, right? My parents taught me that I needed to go to school and get a degree. That was the aim. You understand me? And I think for a lot of people from my generation, that was the aim. Go to school and pick up a degree. Get a degree. No matter what it is, just get a degree. That was the aim. That's what my father would have told me. Get your degree. And I'm saying, okay then. I come from a house where seven brothers and sisters. I'm the fourth, and everyone have a degree. You understand me? But at the same time, there is no job. What we have learned in the school, it's like a waste. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a waste. But now we're coming into the truth now. You understand me? And I think that this is for a lot of people right now who have gone through some sort of tertiary education and coming out right now, that we can start using that now, and teaching our youngsters outside of them going into the system education. You understand me?
Yeah.
Like, coming out, in for example then, all right, those of us who are outside of Babylon, yeah, and we have our little communities, we can have our own schools there now, starting from there, and even also for those of us who are still in somewhat Babylon, pulling out our children in our little communities, and making our own schools with our own, setting up our own curriculum. You understand now? We start off with 5, with 10 children coming up, and that number grows as people's eyes begin to open up. You understand me? Because that's the next step I believe that we asking for right now.
Right.
First we come now, and we have the basis. Okay, this is who we are. So we are here united on that. That is the glue that binds us together as a nation. Who we are, where we fall from. So the next step is right now, how we're gonna build on top of that economically. Doing business within ourselves. Using.
Right. You're absolutely you're absolutely right. And I think we should not demonize education, because education is valuable. If a brother has a law degree, that's going to be valuable if in regards of maybe if we need some legal counsel. If somebody has a master's degree in biology or history, or just even to have the title. Like I want to give you an example. I think you was in the show few weeks ago when we have the pastor Hannah and also Pastor Watson. And Pastor Watson has he's a pastor. He has a license to go into that he could actually go to jail and get a slot to teach Bible. That's a tool that he could utilize that I don't have, that he could utilize, and we could go in there, and I could just go in as his assistant, and we could start breaking out the scripture, the 12-tribe breakdown. We could go in and start talking about the truth. So we have to start thinking like, to believe it or not, if you look, and many people they have not read, should read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. And yes, they always try to take over through stealth, through secret means, taking over. Okay, you deal with economics, you're gonna deal with politics, you're gonna deal with this, you're gonna deal with that. Ultimately, we have a common thing. We should take a page out of that book to some degree and use that for righteousness. Okay, brother, you're gonna be, we got a lawyer. Okay, he's gonna teach us law. Okay, this brother's a mechanic. This brother's a plumber. This brother's a engineer.
Absolutely.
So let's not demonize education, because that's a system. Because just imagine we lived in a world that when you go to school, everybody were Hebrews. The first thing they teach is
Shema.
Shema. Exactly. That's the Creole. You know what I mean? It would have been it's a beautiful world. So it's not the school that are the problem, is the evil Illuminatis that are infiltrating the schools and controlling the system.
This is what I'm saying right now, is that we have come to a part where we can do this. We have people who can teach, who can come up, and we can form our own schools, our own university. We can do it right now. You understand?
Absolutely.
And teach righteousness.
Exactly.
We are at a point right now as a nation that we can do it. You understand? I believe that 100%, man, and we can start in our communities where we are. You understand me? Start setting up, where instead of dropping off the children to the daycare center or to the nursery, as they call it, to let them go and kill them off and poison them. Let's create our own school where they can come to our school and they don't need to be vaccinated to come to our school.
Right.
You understand me? And they will receive, they will learn, you know, at a faster, more productive rate in things that can benefit us as a nation, how to grow crops, how to live healthy. You understand me? And still be a part of society in wherever we are. And at the same time, you know, while we're making that transition and coming out of some of these hellos that we're living in. You understand me? So even it's like you know, I have a thing right now. If you meet a young man out there who's gangbanging and you're bringing him into the truth and in the light. There's something you can bring him and educate him from the lowest level right up to you know to the highest standard. You understand me? You know,
absolutely.
You know, without prejudice, without any interference from this outside system. And I believe that we can do that, and I believe that that's something that, you know, we should start looking into as a nation, you know, to get up and running.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think, you know, sometimes unfortunate education and having a particular degree or the particular institution, you get respected. You know, we as a church, we have to, you know, we collect, you know, a smorgasbord of information to try to prove people, because we do not have the master's degree. We don't have the doctor in front of our name. So we have to kind of work twice as hard to prove our point. So what we're saying is these things we should utilize for the greater good for the kingdom, to build the nation. Not, you know, like I have communicated with brothers that have now going to college and they're walking up and they just, you know, kind of become like a deer in the headlight. They don't know what to do. I said, brother, get that degree. Regardless whether it doesn't mean anything to you, but you could utilize that, and you never know where you may utilize that. You know, and if you're going to go to school, I tell my brother, you know, the young brothers, learn something, use something you can help the nation. How can I help the nations? You know, computer repairs, you know, engineering, you know, things that are practical that we'll be able to utilize, because, you know, like I said, we like even with this thing with the internet, with the website designer, you know, we've been going. You and I have been communicating, Elder Ricard. We finally got a web designer. We pay him, but you know, that would have been a good talent. Not somebody knows a little bit, but someone that went to school, got a degree, you know, because I think our people like to do something, you know, always want to go to the path of least resistance, you know, and kind of like you demonize education, things of that nature. It's not the education is the problem, is these evil, illuminist, devil worshippers that are infiltrating, you know, things of that nature. It's nothing wrong by learning web design and things of these nature, because these are tools that we need, and it's valuable even to this church.
Well, Gabar, I agree with you 100%. I don't think we're demonizing education.
Right.
I don't want it to come off like that, because, listen, I'm educated.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I know a lot of brothers, Truman Burst, other people that are all through this. We have people from every walk of life. You had Luke in the scriptures, which was a Theophilus, when he learned from the disciples. You understand? So you had Joseph of Arimathea, which was a serious rich man with authority in Jerusalem.
Absolutely.
So we're not saying, but we're saying is what we're looking to do more so is to stimulate ideas based on the reality of the social engineering within our communities throughout the world. So it's about awareness more so than anything. We're not saying just throw up your hands and don't participate with anything. We're saying have the knowledge to know this is the society we're dealt, and there's no changing this from the inside. So based on this, let's get some ideas out there. Let's hear what the people have to say based on that.
Right.
So, of course.
Yeah.
So everything you're saying is absolutely correct, but what we're trying to do is put a magnifying glass on the issues that everyone has been ignoring, so that we can come up with what I would call organic ideas. Like today, even little what you would call bullet points or certain phrases to make. Like tonight, based on this conversation, I have a new phrase to use that can probably get our people thinking. You're dealing with a brother or sister out there, and they just ignorant to what's going on. The house is burning down all around them, and no one is saying or thinking anything. I have a new term for that person. You know, brother, can't you see what's going on? No, I don't see what's going on. I'm going to watch the football game. And there's a good statement you can make, a good quote towards that person and say, listen, brother, you seem like you're socially engineered, and walk away. And you can imagine the question mark on top of their head, socially engineered. Let me, that's the word for today, socially engineered. You've been engineered to accept your own destruction. Mm-hmm. So we need to just think, we see how they think, like you talked about the Learned Elder Design. I read that a long time ago, and it was meticulous how they did it, because what they did was they got in charge of the education and put key people into over the institution, over every part of society, so that they can control the world. You understand? So yes, we can don't forget, those Jewish powers learned that by having the records of the lawyers, who is Levi, and the Israelites, and how we operated as a society. That's what they're utilizing. So yes, you're absolutely correct. We're not demon. Listen, matter of fact, it's already demonized, because you understand, because it's demons running it. But if we are educated enough to take advantage of the system and not be absorbed within it, then okay. But the majority of us are being absorbed. So it's about us bringing awareness to this engineering and saying, well, listen, now let's attack it from a different angle. Of course, we can't separate ourselves all together. A lot of us don't have the wherewithal, the means, or whatever to do that. Yeah. But the knowledge of how to operate, like that sister is in school, which was a very positive conversation, like that sister stated, she's changing from the inside. She can't change that institution, but her knowledge and her education have allowed her to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, and help as many children possible while she still had the opportunity, her and her mother. So, that was the point.
No,
but
listen, you're right.
I'm not dismissing anything you're saying, though, because what you're saying is key.
Right.
You got to throw that in. Listen, we making a soup. You got to throw that in the mix too. Everything you said, let's put it all in the mix.
Right. And I you know me. My sometimes I drink too much coffee, so my energy is skyrocket. But and I apologize to come across like I was being criticizing, but more that in regards that, and a good example, and that's the sister. She's a member of the church in New York, the Young family, powerful family, beautiful family. They're all together, which is rare in the truth. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a situation that sometimes when I speak to people is that, especially young people, they wake up, and we all could relate to this. They're listening on the show that once the Holy Spirit hits you, it's like you can't stay still. You got to tell everybody. And sometimes it's like that movie, that Spike Lee movie, where in the end when he was like screaming, "Wake up!" And that's that fire when it hits you. And sometimes what happens is that young brothers and sisters they become like a deer in the headlights. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do first. Whether to join the academy, you go street preaching, or flee. They don't know what to do. It's like they're all over the place. So I just wanted to just to touch on that, and those that may be in the educational situation. Like for instance, like you might have a situation, many people that are in college. Like now we're waking up a lot of people that are going in the educational realm, and I think the reason why we are now attracting many college kids and things of that nature is because the image of the church. I think we have a more kinder, gentler image, and people could be able to listen to us. Other than us screaming to them in the street corners. So now we're getting people from all walks of life, and sometimes as a church, even as an Israelite doing this for 20 years, I never came across a certain situation like somebody's in the military, what should they do, or somebody's in college, they got 2 more years to finish their master's degree on this situation, or they were going into psychology, for instance, but they were into the whole drug, pharmaceutical understanding, but they woke up what to do. What I was trying to say is that to use that and to, like for instance, when you always have these whistleblowers, or you have these individuals that write a book and things of that nature, and they come out and expose the educational, like the guest that you guys will plan to have on here tonight and things of that nature. Sometimes for you to get a notice, sometimes you have to kind of have that degree or that 20-year experience in that particular field, for you to at least be taken seriously. So what I'm saying is that we know Christ is coming soon, but we don't know when he's going to come. We know Babylon's going to fall, but we don't know when Babylon's going to fall. And even after Babylon falls, there's still a lot of work to be done. And like for instance, like I communicate with a brother, I said maybe you should, while you plan, you're taking the academy and you're saving money and things of that nature, maybe transfer your credit into another country. Look into that. Is there you can continue taking your credits in another country and get your education in another country, because we might need that down the road. And you're right, it's just a soup throwing different ideas and different for us to be resourceful, because it's sometimes these degrees and these positions get more respected and sometimes we could utilize these things just for the greater good.
Hey, brother, you're right on. And one thing about these discussions, and I'm glad we have them and we'll have a lot more, is that there is no wrong answer. It's everyone bringing their understanding. And also, yes, I'm glad you came to temper the information, because some people may hear it and make what you would call a spontaneous decision without thinking it out rationally. So, yes, I can understand that, brother. And all your points are well taken, of course.
So definitely loving the show. Also, I want to make a tomorrow at Brother Ra'ai's show. He's going to let me 2 hours between 6 and I believe 8, and it's going to be a Latino-based show. All Latinos on deck. Any Latino, please come up, and we're going to have a round discussion about the political and historical and the social condition that Latinos in. What's going on with Latinos? What's going on? Where it's going to be served. It's going to serve two purposes. We're going to go into education in regards of the Latino history and our struggle, our curses, and to also educate the other tribes, the Judah tribe, the Benjamin and Levi, to maybe they could utilize this information and many things that happened to us, that were we served slavery too, we got slaughtered too, we got killed too. That just to educate some Latinos, because even I got educated about some Puerto Rican history that Brother Joshua educated me in, and also to understand that Latino also have heroes and also have great leaders that fought for equal rights and things of that nature. And I think what it is that Latinos, for some reason, because I think because maybe our skin is a little lighter and our hair is a little straighter, we kind of are in a greater denial, and we don't fight as much as the tribe of Judah. We all know Judah is the head tribe, but I think Latinos kind of has fall back and demanding for things and demanding for the recognition in high school or in history and things of that nature. We also, and this is an idea that came to me pretty late, and I don't know. We're pretty much in the end of the month. I don't know what month we're there. We're the 20th, but I think it will be a good idea that every year in the Black History Month, I think we should start protesting. BET protesting these History Channel, BET, any entertainment industry, protesting, protesting what? And when you go into history, and when you go into Black History Month, all they teach us is we were slaves. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, getting roots. Every year is the same exact thing, as if history started with slavery, with black people. And I think we should put some big poster of King James, the royal family of England, and things of that nature. Many show us in a positive light and say, if you want to teach black history, teach in the entire thing, not only Rosa Parks and roots and the Martin Luther King, speech, which I love so much, but the reality, we're much more than that. So I think that was a good idea that came to me much later, and we're going to try to put it together. I know BET has a representative base here in New York and some other media, and so we just protest. It's not, is what you're doing more harm than good by just promoting that black kids only came from slave, and all we have to hope for our history is, we discovered the peanut butter and the Martin Luther King speech and Rosa Parks, and we're much more than that. So we might put it together for those that are in New York. I'm thinking maybe doing something. They just basically protest, and they maybe come together with other churches and just other so-called African American churches coming together and call some media. Maybe have a press conference. My kid, all he thinks that his beginning was the cargo slave ships. There's much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to just but tomorrow's going to be a talking point with Latinos, and then we'll keep you guys posted what we're going to be doing with this protest.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely in for that one tomorrow night, man. It was a good show last week, man, and this one sounds like it's going to be a good one as well tomorrow night, excuse me.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to step away real quick. I'm sorry. I'm back here.
No problem. Yeah, man. So for everyone, don't forget to tune in to Watch Scriptures tomorrow night. That's 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. And for those of you who missed last week's show, man, go back and get a listen of it. We had they had what's this guy called? Dr. Randy Shorten last week, and that was an interesting discussion with him. So yes, man. All right, Allah Gabar, thanks for that.
Well, thank you, Brother Gabar. Yeah, I missed him. I had to step away real quick, but hey, key points, and that Latino show tomorrow is going to be big, and it's well needed at this time. All praises be to the Most High.
All right, we're down to the last 12 minutes of the live show. If you need to call in, the number is 646-200-4309. Elder Ricard, we're going to have the Ustream up?
Yes, I'll pull it up.
Okay, so and if you are unable to continue with us, with calling in, just go over to the Ustream channel and you will be able to follow the show there. If you get kicked out during the overtime, you can also go over to the Ustream and follow on. All right, let me give you the number 646-200-4309. That is 646-200-4309. You tuned into the Search Engine International, and it's been a very interesting show so far. I think Brother Lexwell wanted to add something to the discussion again. Let me find Brother Lexwell here. Bring him back in.
Hey, shalom, brother.
Shalom.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me back in, man. What I like to say is, our spirituality and the nationhood of us was broken on what was called plantations, and I really think that what we need to do is be able to settle up in places. I'm not talking about the wilderness right now. I just mean just, cities that we all live in or something like that. Just to be able to live or to practice living in a community to see what's necessary to make the next step. Because without coming together as one, even here, on one hand, it makes it harder to do it somewhere else. And on the other hand, there's a fear that can't be broken because of the mentality that's been put upon us with the whole Stockholm syndrome. You know, because there's a lot of people that have a love-hate relationship with this country. I love this place, but I hate this place, but I want to leave, but I can't really leave because there's no place like this place. You know, and these are things that you know, like I personally, you know, just as a listener, you know, or as a student, just think that need to be addressed, because there's no way I'm going to learn more skills or be able to share more skills with people that want the knowledge or want to share knowledge, being where I'm at and being where they're at. It's impossible. You know, we can use all the technology that we want, but without the hands-on experiences with each other, without the face-to-face, without the buddy system being implemented, you know, all these things that make people a people, that build trust, you know, especially since it was prior broken, and the way it was broken through savagery and through beatings and through murder. But that's all I had to say, you know, because I just feel it's just not going in a good way based on the time that's left.
Well, brother, those are some great points, and hey, I'm glad you put it out there. But I want to say one thing I like to say is that I've seen people come together even more so after leaving. I'm talking about the people that we know that's amongst the church that came in the right spirit. It's rough, but you know, I see a lot of things. I see brothers and sisters tapping into sources they would have never thought possible if they would have depended or stayed dependent on the socialized enslavement within our slavery, within America and these other places. So I know we speak a lot of things that make you look at that we can see it from a negative angle, but that's why it's called Jacob's trouble. But through the trouble, the Most High will make a powerhouse. So that's the key point. The key thing, above all the things we've discussed, is prayer. And we're going to have to start instituting prayer meetings where brothers and sisters come together for, you know, put their troubles on the table and just pray together. Pray for the strength of humility and wisdom and the spirit of love and the spirit to stay humble and to deal with the knowledge adequately, which we all fall short of at any point in our lives. The Bible tells us that knowledge puffeth up, and we forget the key things. So, brother, a lot of this conversation today spoke to our spirits, brothers and sisters alike. This is not about who's hiding who and who have one idea better than the other. And I'm kind of glad we supposed to have had a guest tonight, but now I know why the Most High made it this way. I'm kind of glad there was no guest tonight. You know, to hear the people, to hear you all. So we're going to go into the third hour. I'm going to pull up. Let me pull up Ustream now.
Okay, Elder, while you pulling up Ustream, I'm gonna play a track from brother. Is it Rapaya Allah?
Rapaya Allah. I need you a higher.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that.
Flow like river. Your blessings flow like rain.
Yeah, man. And when you get that up, I'm gonna pull that, and that should bring us over into the overtime also. All right.
Yes.
Okay, you locked into the Search Engine International with me, Brother Gocc and Elder Ricard, and the topic tonight being education. If you missed it, we're going into the final hour, and you can go back and get it on the archive also. We also broadcast 4 times a week on Blog Talk Radio on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All shows starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on a Wednesday, I think it starts on 8 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. And that's the Hebrew way of life. All right, hosted by Brother AK. We're now into the live show. And Elder Ricard. Where's Elder Ricard? Shalom, Elder. Can you hear me?
I'm here. I've been here.
Yeah, man. You know, I was just thinking before, we need to do a show because we've been getting a lot of brothers sending in music for the application that we're looking to launch real soon, and they're saying that we could have a show maybe that we just dedicate the entire show for the music with the church. You know, and I know you haven't.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that and set it up before the Passover. And Zahar had a show like that. Like every Monday he would play music and all that, but a show dedicated to all the songs we're going to bring forth for the new year after the Passover is real good. So yeah, let's put that on. Let's put that on the plate, just to inspire our people, just to give them that spiritual push to know that regardless of what's coming against us, the Most High is with us. And one thing I wanted to say, listening to that music today, also is that I know Rapayala, he did that thing, and that's going to be remixed, so they're going to have the mixed version. But I really want to give credit to Brother Micah Allah, who played the piano through that whole. He produced all the music. Maestro, Brother Micah Allah, he's a blessed brother in the music, so I had to give him his credit too, because listen to that music. It's from the heavens, man. I need you a higher. It's powerful. The Most High name being exalted throughout the earth, and these are members, brothers and sisters who sacrificed their life for the truth, and they exalt in the Most High. And guess what? A lot of this was recorded outside of Babylon. They were so caught up in the things, the hustle and bustle in Babylon. Mm-hmm. And the Most High has given them time to exercise their gift and exalt Him. So, man, and we have some songs in the kitty here that's going to move a few people. So it's going to, and it's good that we can sing and celebrate the Most High in righteousness and exalt His name. So I wanted to put that out there. But yeah. We still got some phone calls here.
Loads of calls here, man. Let's go and get them. Let's go to the UK, Brother Daniel.
Shalom. Shalom, brother.
Hold on, brother. You're coming in a bit distorted there.
Shalom, brother. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man. That's a lot better. Go ahead.
Yes, shalom. This is a very wonderful show. Shalom, Elder Ricard.
Shalom, brother. How are you?
I'm feeling good. Fantastic. This is a wonderful show. And yeah, I've been listening to the show, and all the brothers and sisters have been saying pretty much the same thing. Most of it we know already. And like some of the past callers said, the only solution to this is literally getting out of her, and getting out of this system, because we must do things according to the scriptures. As it says, we are a separate nation, and as we come into this knowledge of what we know what the system is, basically, it's a socio-economic paradigm where everyone is literally programmed to be a slave, either directly or indirectly, and we also know that whosoever controls the the circumference of our activities controls the diameter of our learning. So with all this knowledge, basically we need to come out of her, use our economics to be able to sustain ourselves. Many people, when they come into this truth, one of the first questions that will come to their mind is, what is the solution? And the scriptures gives us all that solution. And like the Most High said, if we, His people who are called by His name, should turn from our wicked ways and seek His name and call upon Him, He would hear us. And I believe in the word of the Most High, just like most of us do. And we need to make our people to have faith. Once they have faith, they wouldn't have to worry too much about whatever the system is bringing, because once the Most High is with us, no one can come against us. And the Israelites, they are under contract with the Most High. If we keep His law, statutes, and commandments, everything is okay. But if we don't, and we know that this system has been designed either for us to accept it directly or indirectly, by them putting pork in our clothing and things like that offends the Most High. So, and we have understood how the system works. So the best thing is to just pull out, and we have literally the technology available right now to actually do it. Most of these technologies are actually available off the shelf. So, I just want to just add that in the pot of soup that we're cooking tonight. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What would you say the last piece there?
No, I said I just wanted to just add these into the pot of soup that we are cooking tonight. Yeah. Wonderful show.
Well, brother, you added it, and just do your part.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So all praise to the Most High. I think you guys are doing a fantastic show tonight.
Well, thank you. And you know what? The show is fantastic because of you all. It's the body. It's the brothers and sisters that's talking. This is the conversation that needs to be had. So, thank you, brother.
Yeah, just one more thing. But Agaja, that music, I would like to have the name again.
You'd like to hear it again?
I would like to know the name of the artist.
Oh, it's Rapaya.
Brother Rapayala. Rapayala, which means healing spirit.
All right. Yeah, man, because the music is still echoing in my head right now. It's a beautiful music.
Let's see if we can play it again before we head out.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we can get Rapayala to call in if he's listening. Even if he, matter of fact, let me see where he is. One moment.
All right, shalom, brother. I will just press one now.
Shalom, bless you.
Shalom.
Where's Reply? Where is he? He's not on right now, but if he was on, I would bring him in right now. He's not on right now, but I would bring him in. I mean, what a great brother, but Okay, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. We got something good going on here. Let's keep it rolling.
We have Brother Xavier with a comment.
Shalom, Elder Ricard. Shalom, Elder Gaja.
Shalom.
I just wanted to throw in some equations concerning the school systems and how to build on our own concerning the solution. I first got to state that schools are based off of economics. So the way that you would teach your children is based on your economic growth and how you want your economy to grow. So where we would first have to start is with an economy. And an economy comes from, like El Gaza is saying, we have to build a nation. If we properly built the nation, properly built the economics, we could provide a proper education for the children. And this doesn't include their government. It doesn't include their licensing. It doesn't include their authority, because we are the authority. And if we let them have the authority on what we teach and how we teach and how we govern, then things will play out as they have played for the last 400 years. And, concerning whether or not we can do it in this land called Babylon or America, we really can't, because it's tried so many different times all throughout history, even in Christ, to where they separate the individuals using COINTELPRO, whatever method they want to choose. But concerning, being separate from the system and building schools, it's all part of a process. And we have to do that through, establishing who we are, establishing who is who, and then establishing economics. And that's the only way we can teach the children properly to where our economy could grow. And until then, we have to take the resources that they are giving us, which means we have to go to their colleges, we have to go to their schools, and take from them just a little bit they do give us and build from there. And then the way that I kind of look at it as, if we have a career, if there are young children, if we have a career, fathers and mothers, we take the children into our career, which we would do way back in the days, going on for 5,000 years, 4,000 years, however long there's been careers established. We would take the children into the career so they could learn the same career, the same style of living. That way, if there was a trade school, they could fly right through it, because the college and school that they provide, it's not trade school, it's not direct teaching. If you go into school for law, you got to learn some type of geometry, which really doesn't make sense. You got to learn some type of history about the Asians, and you learn about the law of America. So it doesn't make sense. They add time to your trade or your career to stall you, to take funds, to take whatever they want to take from you, and not only that, instill knowledge that you'll most likely never use. So that's what I'm saying. If we build our own economy and our own economics, we can provide for our children exactly where we want to grow, as a church, as a nation, whichever way. So I just had to throw that in there just to show a stepping process to how we could actually build something to that degree.
Yeah, man, Brother X. Yeah, man. Point taken. Alaric, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. That's a blessing. That's more in the soup there.
I'm a Brother X, but I'm going to put it up to you, all right?
Yep, shalom.
Shalom, brother. Powerful.
Okay, let me see. We have Kyle with a comment.
Yes, shalom, elders.
Shalom.
I just had, just sitting and listening to the show, I really have so many comments, but I will keep it short. One of the things that I wanted to mention in navigating this whole school system and things like that is it's the extra added dynamic when you have children that are classified as, special education, and, they're filtered into these schools that are supposedly specialized to help them out, but meanwhile they're just trapped in order to just further keep them classified as special education, in my opinion. I have twin boys that are classified as being autistic, and we put them in a school that specializes for kids who also are autistic, and it's supposed to be helping them out. And although our boys have made some significant progress, I don't think it's due to the school system. I definitely think it's due to my husband and I in constantly being on top of them and to help them through and get them off of these medications and different things that they've, before we were knowledgeable, put them on. And, you know, we're just trying to clear out the systems and further get them healthy. And the last that we really need to do is just pull them out of this particular school system, because, like as several people said, these systems, these schools are like jails. This particular school that my boys go to, you go in, the kids go in, you can't get in there unless, you know, you're announced. And then all the doors are locked, so someone has to actually physically come out from where they are and lead you down into that school, you know, to where their classrooms are. So they could be doing anything in there to them, you know, and we don't even know. But the last comment that I wanted to make is, you know, one day last year they said that one of my sons was having a temper tantrum, and they actually just emailed me, the school behavioral specialist, and said that they're going to take my son away and basically commit him because of this tantrum that he was having. And, you know, I called my husband right away, and he called the school right away, and he said, you're not taking my son anywhere, you know. So he went down to the school and basically prevented the whole situation from happening. But, you know, after that, they had convinced us into putting our son on some medication. But that was the whole purpose of them emailing us and saying this, you know, so we could put them on this psychotropic medication, which we since got them off of. But, you know, that was like the setup for the whole thing to happen. And me, and, you know, in my emotional state, and they try to play on women, I said, okay, you know, we'll take them to this doctor. And my husband was against it the whole time. And, like, after really getting further into this truth and everything, and realizing that, you know, this is not good. We have to get our kids off of these psychotropic medications that are just further killing our kids, killing their brain cells and everything else. And you're not teaching them anything in this school other than how to basically maintain on this medication.
Sister, what you're speaking to is the actual scenario that's going on with our people throughout all of the United States.
Yes, sir.
What you're speaking, this is a scenario. I'm telling you, what you're talking about right now is the scenario. They're doing this to everyone. And see, even once he's off the medication, he's still in a database, and by this agreement, he's classified for the rest of his life there. See, and see, you notice that they're moving this gun control ban into those. They're talking about screening for mental issues. Because they went a whole decade of putting everyone under some type of mental issue now. So they can't take the guns outright, but they can make it where you can't protect yourself because you have mental issues. And they can do other things to you. They can lock you up for a certain amount of time based on these particular diagnoses. And it allows the government to have control over the individual, you understand, for the rest of their known lives. And there's nothing that the parents can do once you've signed away your child. And we put that out there. Usually the best thing to do is run. When I say run, in those scenarios, you got to get you and your child out of harm's way. And of course, you didn't know it. And they play on the emotional state of the mother. If you have if you have a choice whether or not to get your child taken away or agree for medication until you can, and you really was buying yourself time on what to do, you chose the lesser of two evils. But this is what they do. They trick you into it. Let me tell you, that diagnosis and you signing him over there is more detriment. And it's not your fault, sister. Don't blame yourself. But what I'm saying is they set up a system where that's the detriment part. Because once he signed in that it's an agreement with the parents and the institution that he has a mental problem, that stays with him the rest of his life. So, I mean, you definitely got to stay in prayer and get your child out of harm's way. Do whatever you can to retract or to redact all that information that was against them, because they're going to use that where if you have mental issues, then you can be one of the guys like the Aurora shooting. These are the things they're going to try to put in, and they're going to classify them as possible health risk or societal risk, and then they're looking to minimize his right to travel because he's on some type of what you would call under doctor's care. I'm telling you, this psychological thing they're using is the greatest weapon that will get our people in fusion centers. That's the transition. You notice they got pre-crime now. They say now we can estimate someone that's going to do a crime. Well, if you on these psychotropic drugs, and it's agreed from the parents in the institution that you have mental issues, now you're in the same classification as the so-called Aurora shooter, the so-called Sandy Hook shooter. That's the narrative. That's what they're doing so that they can be like, well, he's on this drug, and the guy that shot up the people in Sandy Hook, even though that was a hoax, but they're going to frame it that way. They say, well, it's possible that you might do the same thing in a mall or a school, and we don't know what you might do because the same person did this before, so we're going to have to keep an extra eye on you. And this is what they're doing, sister, and we have to become aware, and parents need to get together. And I'm going to tell you who's going to have a stronger voice than brethren on the society issues. You sisters have more power on the societal issues than us. If sisters came together and came together and made, and spoke about this on an independent site that had nothing to do with religion, the impact of how this is affecting your families, and make this where it's not just an individual thing. You all are talking from a grassroots black majority throughout the United States. And Jewish people and others do this all the time. Sodomites, they even do this. They make little foundations online and talk about it and get other people to talk about it and pass out flyers. Talk about it. Your sister have voices. You have to use them. Talk about the social ills. You talk about the vaccines. You can talk about it. And you know what? It'll mean more because, believe it or not, in reverse, this is what they use to get our people on it. They separated the families and made the sisters the voice above all when it comes to society. So now you use that same weapon against them. Talk about it. And you know what? It only takes one person to talk about it. And others who couldn't say, who didn't think there was others who were dealing with the same thing, they will begin to come out.
I agree completely. Prior to moving back to Pennsylvania, we still in Washington, D.C., and I was involved in a grassroots organization similar to that. We just a small group of parents, women, who went and spoke out in front of the school boards and things like that for the District of Columbia because of the lack of education that our children were receiving, the lack of quality education that our children were not receiving because of their diagnosis and things like that. And, because of the situation our children were in, we did find ourselves moving back to Pennsylvania. But I agree because our small organization that we had, like 6 parents, eventually started to grow, and we were making a voice for ourselves down there in Washington, D.C. So
why don't you do this, sis? Here's something good you can do. And I'm going to tell you, y'all can start off online and make yourself get enough signatures and do a class action suit. Parents against psychotropics, or black women, or you name it something where it's an impact. Black women against pills. You understand? Something that stands out there. You all come together and make a video and say, this is what's going on with my children. if there are other people all in the neighborhoods going through this with their children, and it's going to come out and say, we're signing a class action suit that the government, the government or the educational so-called school system is at war against our children, putting them on psychotropes. And let me tell you, everyone will come out, a class action suit. And guess what? It don't cost too much. It only costs like a couple of $100 to file a suit. So y'all got to move it. You got to put that voice out there. People have to know that we are aware of what they're doing. Put that voice out there. Sisters need to come together and say, listen, let's deal with a class action suit if we need to sue them for threatening our children with these psychotropics, drugs, these psychotropes. And not only that, the side effect of the drugs cause more issues, not only medically, but mentally. They know the child will eventually go off and lose their mind. That's what they put them on there for. Then you can point to the child and say, see, look, give them more medication.
Mm-hmm. And you know, one of the twins, he was acting worse on the medication than he was even prior to them suggesting that medication to them. So
exactly.
He was on a small dosage, and one of the psychiatrists said to me, well, I don't know why this is happening to him because, he's on a very low dosage. Why? Because the Most High was telling us, and this is what I see now and this is what I feel, that he shouldn't be on this medication anyway. So he was just sure that he was not on that. And, like I said, we have taken him off of it, and the school, believe me, they're after us. They're like, well, have you been to the psychiatrist lately? And, their twins are acting like this, and I'm not letting them put my kids like that.
Listen, first of all, I'm going to ask you, mind your business, okay? Whose business is it? Listen, you teach somebody how to add and read. It ain't none of your business what's going on psychologically with my child.
Right.
Okay? A matter of fact, give me your name. Listen, I'm suing you. I'm taking your house. I'm suing everybody within screaming distance. Okay? And that's what I'm saying. Our people have to come look at them and say, listen, do you know that my child is none of your business?
Right.
Okay? You get paid to do what? Read, listen, get out my life. And see, it's because of it's the passive stance we take. Other nations aren't like this. You
That's
understand?
True. Yeah.
It's the passive stance we take as if they are the authority. Like, listen, get out of my face. I'm suing everybody. Let me tell you, I talked to the principal. I did that. I sat there with the principal. Listen, I'm not playing your game, okay? I'm not listening to any of y'all up in here. The only person I trust in this school is my son, okay? I don't trust none of you. All right? Now, this is what's going to happen. Or listen, y'all going to change my life for the better drastically if y'all don't listen to what I'm saying, because I'm suing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing you know, the principal pulled me to the side and say, listen, I know this great school called Agora. It's one of the top charter home schools in the United States, and I'm going to put in a recommendation. They were sending computers to my house, microscopes. I had a full-fledged school. I made one of my rooms into a full-fledged school for my son in compliments of the Department of Education of Pennsylvania, because they know I wasn't playing no games.
Right.
And they sat there and going to try to make me feel like I don't know my son. And I'm looking at the principal and this so-called sodomite psychologist as if they both got two heads. I listened to what they had to say for a minute, and then I say, listen, I don't think y'all understand what y'all dealing with right here. Okay, both of you going to lose your jobs, and I'm going to sue everybody because you're stepping over your bounds here. Okay? It's none of your business what's going on with my son emotionally. Okay? You are my son's problem. So I'm feeling threatened all up in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready to sue everybody. Okay? I know about social engineering. I know about the VAT. I know about everything you're doing up in here. Okay? So you got a choice. You're going to give me what I need for my son to be educated up in here, and you're going to do your job because my tax money is paying your behind, or you will be without a job. I will make it my life's mission to make sure all of you are done up in here. So how y'all want to handle it? And right there, the sodomite psychologist skirted out of the room. I'm like, yeah, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep.
And that was it. I got everything I needed for him, and he was in the corner smiling. You understand?
Yes, sir.
He leave home happy after eating oatmeal and everything, and he's coming home emotionally distressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, listen, I know enough to be able to teach him with the madness you learning up in here anyway. So, hey, this guy, you are giving my son emotionally distressed. I'm ready to sue everybody up in here. So
right.
No, you take the pills. Okay, you take the pills. And see, that's a stance I take. But listen, I'm not hollering. And what was great about it, I was sitting back and I was talking to them in a very even-keeled manner. I'm like, no, listen, this is what's going to happen. I'm suing everybody, okay? My son is emotionally distressed because of you. You people are my problem. And you're his problem.
Right.
And I don't think that my taxpayer money should go towards any of you going forward. And I'm gonna make my life mission to destroy all of you financially. So how do y'all want to handle this? I'm on his side. I don't hear nothing y'all have to say. That's my son. I'm on his side. Okay? You've made it clear whose side you all are on.
Right.
Okay? So that's a stance we have to take. Take your children's side. Don't listen to how can the institution tell you about something that came out of you?
Right.
Your child came out of you. What can they tell you about your own child?
That's true.
Listen, you're overstepping the line here. Only thing I need to hear from you is that some arithmetic and some reading words and all that other, and do that. The principal, you're not no dean of no prison here, okay? You make sure your teachers in line doing what they need to do. You're not the dean of my child. Okay?
Right. Yeah. And then, one of the psychologists called me just the other day, and she was saying, I really didn't realize how smart Javon was. Yeah, he's extremely intelligent. Extremely. And she's like, yeah.
Listen, I would have told her, because she's psychologically profiling you when she say that. I would have told her, listen, it ain't none of your business. See, that's the problem. We've given them conversation as if they're the authority. Listen, man, it's none of your business how smart he is. What you need to do, matter of fact, are you a teacher? What am I talking to you for? So let me tell you, they only have the authority we give them.
That's true.
I'm in the room, a psychiatrist and the counselor, all of them walk out of the room because they sit back and see if they can break you first. They move from the son. They move from psychologically profiling him to now everyone is looking at you and trying to profile you and trying to say, well, just stay calm. Listen, I am calm. Okay? A matter of fact, who are you? Are you a teacher? And then I start psychologically profiling them. How it is you sitting here, You are an unrepentant sodomite. You jumping up on other men, and you're gonna try to profile me and my son. You listen. You best go. I know what you're dealing with at night, brother. So how can you sit here and come and try to tell me about my son? I'm like, listen, I'm done with it. Where's our fight, man? We sitting there letting known sodomites and these so-called psychologists, which are sources and witches and warlocks. They are. I mean, they've made us passive.
Right.
Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna fight for the young? And the children get mad at us because they know what the teachers and all of them are doing, and we sitting there listening to this, saying, "Okay, okay, all right," and frowning and looking at him, saying, "Listen, you got to get that together." Listen, my son was in the office laughing. He was cracking up, and you know what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he can laugh. He's fine. All you people are sick up in here, getting paid to destroy your own people.
Right.
So I'm calming down. You done got me worked up right here. All right.
That's just how my husband is every day, Elder. The same way, very passionate about it. We're definitely making strides to get these. He has his beard now and everything, and they think he's some type of terrorist now. But they're listening. They're listening. Let them know if they keep on going the way they're going, y'all gonna have what city and state you from? What state you from? We're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let them know that you're gonna have flea money, compliments of Pittsburgh.
Right.
Let them know that if this thing keeps going, you're gonna have, you know what I mean? You're gonna have you a nice little place, a nice little cushion.
Right. To further help our agenda to get out of this wicked society.
There you go. Let me tell you, you sitting on a gold mine right now with these people. Now listen, I'm not playing with y'all no more. I'm here. I'm psychoanalyzing all you up in here. You take the pills and tell me. Call me in 2 days and tell me how that worked out for you. All right.
Well, thank you, Elder.
All right, bless you, sister. Y'all got me worked up in here.
Bless you. Shalom.
Bless you.
Okay, sister, shalom. Just hit one for me, and that will put you back in the queue. All right. Let me see. Take some more calls in. Let me see who we have here. We have Carl with a comment.
Yep. Hello.
Shalom.
Shalom. How you doing, Elder Gocc, Elder Bakar?
Shalom.
I heard a story on RT News. Y'all heard about the Boy Scouts? They released basically a file that they weren't going to hire any homosexuals or agnostics or atheists into their organization or have any homosexual boys a part of the camp. Y'all heard about that?
No. So what's going on?
Well, basically, they're getting demonized. I'll read the summary on RT America that I have here. It says, last week, the Human Rights Campaign released a job application that outlines the Boy Scouts of America's employment policy. It turns out that the group will not employ atheists, agnostics, known or avowed homosexuals, or anyone really that goes against the group's value system. And I just wanted to bring that out because I saw that it kind of paralleled to them kind of trying to push their lifestyle on people, and they're being demonized for it. Like people who funded them are pulling funds because I guess they're trying to make it look like they're teaching hate against homosexuals, and they're just trying to run their organization that's been around for about 100 years, the way they want it, the way they want their children to be raised, and they're pushing that lifestyle on people, and it's happening in everything. I mean, I was watching a late night TV show, a late night talk show, and the homosexual agenda is being pushed on that angle. It's like on every part of society as you could think of is being pushed. So I just wanted to bring out that information. Y'all can still hear me? Am I still in?
Well, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'll tell you what. That's key what you're saying there. But I'm going to tell you how they deal with this thing. I done figured it all out on this. It's about keeping the homosexual conversation on the table. Articles like that, like here it is. I'm looking at an article right here. Papal candidate links sex abuse and homosexuality. Right? Showing that children that are sexually abused eventually become, a spirit come in them and give them an alternative nature, so to speak. Now, we all knew this, but why are they now reporting this on mainstream news? Why is what you're reading on the mainstream news? You know why? Because sodomites need this paradigm so that they can continue this fight against them being bullied and oppressed. So it's a left-right paradigm where they put the news out so that homosexuals can have a platform to fight against. We all know what goes on with a lot of these Boy Scout leaders and all that. A lot of them are rapists and pedophiles. A lot of the guys, because tell the truth, how many of you brothers grew up saying, you know what, I want to be a Boy Scout leader? Hey, how many of you grew up saying, you know what, yeah, I want to be over the Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
I want to be over the Girl Scouts. That ain't no job that we aspire to be a part of. A guy dressed up like a grown kid over some boys. You know he's molesting somebody. So they've been molesting people. Then you have here it is. You got the black guy from Ghana who's a papal candidate. He's been a papal candidate for 20 years. Okay. And he done seen nothing but pedophilia. And he comes out and say, well, this papal candidate links sex abuse and homosexuality. Yeah, that's the homosexual engineering, to get the children at a young age and tamper with this. They know what that does. The majority of so-called homosexuals out there who call themselves homosexuals, who are just sodomites, the majority of them were abused and were victims. You understand? And they've been sheltered and hid that for a long period of time. And it did something to them. They couldn't talk to nobody. It sheltered them. And the whole time Satan used the spirit to play on them and to destroy them internally and give them a reprobate mind towards society and towards themselves. They were taught to hate themselves and then eventually hate family. It's a demon, and it happens as a child, and they know this. They know this. Or you get the young girls who are in school, and they're feeling a certain type of way, all up in school, young, impressionable, and they get forced into a certain type of thing. Well, let's try this and let's try that. And they don't want to feel left out. And next thing you know, they're being turned out. Or a boyfriend that they had hurt them, and then the best friend who was just waiting for a lesbian trip the whole time steps in.
Do you think that's why they set up like those all-boys schools and all-girls schools? Like, do you think that's something that's like a good idea?
That's not right.
I never thought so either. When I was a kid, they used to say that.
You want to be around a bunch of dudes.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but this is their reason. They said like because women being in the classroom would distract us. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, we could be in the same building then. I mean, if you want to separate the classrooms for learning purposes, I mean, like, you go the whole day.
That's the wrong spirit. That's institution. That's like that's institutionalizing. That's like a man going to jail.
Yeah.
That's social deprivation. Can you imagine yourself running around in the woods, dressed up with a brown suit on, with a bunch of guys with sticks and whatever they doing there? I mean, total madness.
No, I actually went to an all-boys school for a while. I was there for like half a year. Actually, I did a whole year there, and I ended up I got kicked out because I was really misbehaving at that time.
You got kicked out, huh? Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I ended up spending the next 4 years in a unisex school because I was like,
let me tell you, I'm still worked up from that last phone call, brothers. I apologize, everybody. The one before you got me worked up. How they got these children and how they tripped these children into the psychotropes and all that.
I did not have to. I had to take medication at one point. I don't remember the name of it. I had to take medication at one point myself. I don't remember the name of it. It was for like attention deficit disorder. And
attention deficit disorder.
Yeah. Because
so who got you on? How old are you, brother?
I'm 23 now.
So who got you on that? Who got you on the? Who allowed you to take these drugs as a kid, as a child?
I believe this was a while ago. I believe that a teacher might have suggested it, and I guess because I was having learning difficulties, my mother decided to do it. But I took myself off of them after a while because they would kind of make me sick. Like if I take them in a pill on a empty stomach, I'd get like real sick or whatever.
Okay. You're old enough to understand now. Now I need to go to the next call. I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is a learning disorder? What weren't you learning?
Well, I wasn't getting good grades, and it was like because I couldn't pay attention.
I understand that. Listen to my question. What was the disorder? Not the fact that you wasn't getting good grades. I know a lot of smart people got bad grades. What was the disorder?
I really don't even know how to answer that. I mean,
exactly.
I heard somebody say earlier that they teach you to memorize.
The question was rhetorical because there is no disorder. The bottom line is they set up a linear school knowing that our people don't operate linear. We learn what we're interested in. Black men learn what they're interested in, and they studied us for a long time, and they put us in a linear system that really operates more so with females. Females learn linear. Men only do what they're interested in. You understand?
I learned that out. I figured that out later. And somebody earlier on the comment said that they only teach you to memorize things. But they teach us to memorize things, but wouldn't teach us what it meant. Like, I remember learning the Constitution. We just had to memorize it. They didn't even explain what certain things were.
What
like
was it?
Habeas corpus. I didn't even know what habeas corpus was until, maybe about a year or two ago. You know?
Listen, I'll tell you this. Believe it or not, memorizing ain't too bad. But the key point about it is the structure of learning was more so equalizing the balance because women learn linear. They learn in stages. Men are not that way. I don't care how much you want me to read something. If I'm not interested in finding out about it, then I'm not going to be interested in it. I don't got a learning disorder. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
See, but when I was in school, they put a piano in front of me. They put a trumpet in front of me. I'm a musician. Now I was interested in something. So in order for me to keep doing this music, I needed to find out what the teacher was talking about. Even though they were talking mess back then, I needed to at least get the grades to show that I can do it. But there was an interest. There was something I needed to protect. There was something that I was interested in that made me want to learn.
I didn't have those options in my high school because I wanted to do music, but they didn't have a music program, and my mother wouldn't even let me transfer out.
I understand, but the point I'm trying to put out, and I want you to press 1 real quick. We're going to bring the next caller in. The thing I'm trying to put out here is that there's 2 separate ways of learning. They studied black men and realized that culturally we would watch our father and become whatever our father was, like Xavier mentioned earlier. There was no such thing as going out and trying to find, what I'm going to be, a fireman. No. Whatever your father do, you do. Your father a carpenter, you a carpenter. Your father worked with linen, and your mother worked with linen, she worked with linen. Someone cooked, the other cooked. Why? Because society is going to need those same attributes, those same jobs from generation to generation. If I'm a carpenter now, and later on my son become a carpenter, I'm sure they're going to need houses to build when my son grow up. If people are eating now, I'm sure they're going to eat later. So they understood that black men learn linear. I mean, not linear. We learn through interest. So you put a lot of junk that we're not interested in, and then claim that we got a learning disorder? No, I'm not interested. And they made it that way on purpose. So they say, look at him. He got a behavior problem. Listen, he don't have a behavior problem because he's happy when he leaves the school. Because when he leaves the school, he can do what he's interested in. So no, it shouldn't be me adjusting my spirit for the institution. The institution is supposed to adjust to make sure I learn, to make sure I'm interested. Let's go.
Okay, the next caller is Michael with a comment. Shalom.
Yes, shalom. Ma shalom, elders. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Come on.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to make a comment and ask a question. A couple of things in regards to solutions and things of that sort. I really do believe that we do have everything that we do need as a people, even within the small group of awakened individuals, to start making rather large moves. And as far as education, I agree with the other brother was saying that economics is going to be extremely important. We're going to need to be able to build school buildings. We're going to need to be able to create our own materials for reading and learning and things of that sort. And also, I think it is going to be extremely important to do it outside of Babylon. Although, at the same time, for those who are not wise enough to leave this country, I do think that they could still benefit the cause as well while they're still here, because there's many economic concepts that even myself that I put together. I've called and spoke with elders of our about these things, and I have thousands of ideas to help our economy as a community grow, which I'm hoping we'll get together on at some point. But we have it. We have it. I mean, it's well known now that even in our current state, that we make and spend almost $1 trillion per year, but only 3% or so comes directly back to our communities. So, I mean, we know that we're a powerhouse. Right now in our current state, if we were to take us as we are right now and put us on some chunk of land that no one owned right now, we would be the 10th largest country, and that's in our current condition. So with us awakening and coming together to build our community, it's going to become more apparent. Well, they actually already know about who we are. I mean, if we can make and spend almost $1 trillion per year and be in this state, they know what our potential is, which is why, of course, they keep us down in addition to them knowing, that we are those children. But I just real quickly, I also wanted to say that when it comes to the education thing as well, me being a physicist who was working on his PhD, I decided to exit the program and just get a master's instead. I do think that if you're comfortable with leaving the educational system, you should do so, especially if you have ideas to contribute to our cause, because I know that, for example, me working on a PhD in physics, I would never have time to work on the ideas for our community that I would when I, outside of the program and just getting that master's. But also I know at the same time I have the ability to learn still at the PhD level to help out our communities. But we need to start thinking along these lines. We need more teachers. We need people who want to build, because although, just like one of the elders was saying earlier, we don't know when all this is going to happen, but we all know for certain it's going to happen. And we need to behave like it's going to happen and really become a nation like we're supposed to be, and coagulate solidify.
Brother Michael, I don't want to cut you right there, right? But we're running out of time right now, and I want to just take 2 or 3 more calls. I think we have about five 5 to 8 minutes left. So point taken, brother. This is a conversation. I think we're gonna have to continue it. And do it again. You understand me? But point well taken, brother. And I'm gonna put you back in the queue. Hit 1 for me, and let me go to the next call. And just if you can just make your comment, and then we'll go to the next caller. I apologize. I know we got carried away going through it, but maybe next week you could call back in again and make your point, and we'll pick up from where we're gonna leave off in a couple of minutes. All right? We have Sister Maureen from New Jersey with a comment.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom. Just make your comment, and I'll take the next call, and while Elder Rakar answers or expounds.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Hi. I wanted to make a comment. First, I wanted to say that the show has been very informative so far, even without the expected guest, Mr. Gatto. What I wanted to share was that I'm a homeschool mother, and I've been homeschooling my children now for about 3 years. There were some issues that we had with my oldest daughter when she was in the public schools, and her father and I, we didn't take anything that the teachers and the principals were saying. We believed our child, and we were quite confident in her abilities, and they were holding her back greatly. And so from them not being able to give her what she needed, we decided just to take her out. And I wanted to encourage a lot of the parents that are listening to let them know that, homeschooling at first, it may seem like a taboo subject, but once you do the due diligence and research it out, it's going to be well worth it for your children, because even my daughter now, she's the age of a 4th grader, but she's actually doing 6th grade level work. So it's very doable, and it's something that I feel like as a nation that we should definitely begin to embrace and begin to take it upon ourselves as parents, because these are our babies, these are our children, and we want them to have the best. In the public school, they tend to breed a lot of underachievement, and the children are ignorant of a lot of things. And now that we are coming into the knowledge of the truth, we have to begin to educate our children with the biblical aspect, and a lot of us are collegiate level learners, so we can begin to academically teach our own children as well. So I just wanted to put that out there, and there's a lot of different resources that are out there online. And one website that got my husband and I started was hslda.org, that really pointed us in the right direction for our state as to what our legal rights were and what we had to do before taking her out of public schools.
Repeat that again. Repeat that online.
Yes, it's www.hslda.org.
Yes. .org. Thank you. That's what we need. Sure. That's out there for the brothers and sisters. Thank you. You're well spoken.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bless you.
So for your one for me, please. And I think we're down to our elder. We've got 2 minutes left. So see if we can just squeeze one more call in. Seen a call here from the 954 area code.
One more call in. Seen a call here from the 954 area code. One more call in. Seen a call here from the 954 area code.
Okay, we have Ray with a comment. Shalom.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, you got 1 minute, brother.
Hello, am I on?
Yes, go ahead.
You have 1 minute. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was me. I just want to say shalom to everybody. I just wanted to make a quick comment since we're talking about like the school and everything, and just when people get to college, it's their job just to like strip you of like all your moral values. Because I'm in the class, and she basically wants us to have like no judgment of what's right and wrong, and just from listening, and basically have no standards. So I mean, just taking from what I heard today, like when a woman said like infiltrate the system, I'm gonna start doing that, like passing out flyers or whatnot, and like what you said, Elder Ricard, about like people being socially engineered to instruct their own destruction. I'm gonna try to go against that. So I know that's all I wanted to say.